I just had spaghetti Alfredo. That's why my background is this.
That's why it's
No other
spaghetti
reason.
Alfredo. Yeah. Okay.
Why did I say spaghetti Alfredo? That's not what it's called. What the fuck is wrong with me?
Yeah. What is it called?
Fettuccine Alfredo is the
There.
term.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you really enjoyed it, I'm
I
assuming.
did really enjoy it. It was
Yeah.
nice and sloppy and fun
And
and creamy
satisfying to
and very
eat.
satisfying. It proved me
Yeah.
right on a lot of things.
Yeah.
Anyway, hello everybody. Welcome to Fanboy Talk. This is Troybo17. I'm joined today, as always, by my co-host Mithi, also known as Film Caffeine.
Hello.
How's it going?
I'm not bad. I'm going through finals week right now because
Oh
school.
fuck. Oh, haha, sucks.
Yeah. I
But
hate.
Marvel
The
just
thing is,
released a movie. You gotta pay it. You gotta
I
dedicate your
know I
entire
have to
life to
dedicate
the
my
new
life to
Marvel
this now
movie.
instead of my finals.
Yeah.
I was actually, I did get to watch it earlier, so now I have the whole weekend to focus on final shit, which is
Yeah,
kind of
that's true.
nice. But
That's true.
yeah, no, final sucks. All of our listeners who are also in college, I empathize with you. This is that time of the year. Also, high school kids are doing AP tests now, so it's
Oh
just
fuck. Oh
it's just
fuck
not
the AP
fun all
tests.
around.
I hated
Yeah,
that shit. I
yeah.
hated all that shit. The standards in high school are ridiculous. It's
I
bullshit.
only did well on like I think 3 of my AP tests. I don't even
What did I
remember.
take? I took AP Gov, AP Physics, and AP Lang. No, AP Lit. No, AP Lang and AP Lit.
I took
I
AP
don't think I
Lang.
took the Lit test. I didn't take any in the senior year. Most people don't take them a senior year.
Yeah. Yep.
Do
I
they?
took
Yeah.
I took AP Calc and AP Chem.
Oh, and
I
Calc. Yeah,
did.
I took Calc.
Yeah, AP Calc is actually I did BC and it was
I had a
actually
good teacher, so it really is all just on the
it's the
teacher.
teacher.
It's like,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
My chem teacher was so fun. He'd be like, so the atoms are like ionized atoms are like positive electrons and then or like positive atoms and then negative ionized atoms. And when an electron goes from an atom to an atom, it's like if your wife was with you, but then your wife left you for another guy, and then you become really negative, but the other guy becomes really positive, and that's what it's like for ionized atoms.
I
I don't
really
even.
like I really like how long we're spending on this.
Yeah,
I'm a
yeah. I
big
mean,
fan of this.
for the record, he also spent a very long time on ionized atoms. So I'm just reflecting that experience. I
Really
was a nerd
appreciate
at one point. Yeah,
we're
and it sucked.
we have a podcast about comic book movies. We never stopped.
No,
We're not cool.
we're a serious
We just have
podcast.
numbers now. We just have the numbers go up and that's it.
We're a really serious podcast now.
We take it really seriously,
we
which
have
is
an
why
agenda.
I've made it it's everything in my power to make it as easy as possible for me with zero effort whatsoever.
Someone's like producing like a full-fledged like scripted podcast for like their media capstone, who's in one of my classes, and they're talking through how much they have to research before each podcast and how much they like take notes and how much they have to almost script certain sections, and I'm like,
I feel
yeah,
so
good for you.
like I know like Eric and like and
Yeah, and
everybody
Comics
they all
Collective
do
and Geeks Play,
Comics Collective
yeah.
and like they all do like crazy audio editing because it's like they only do the podcast and like that's
Yep.
I think they're all only audio I believe.
They'll
So it's like
research. They'll have like notes and
they'll
they'll
do
come
crazy
to the
research and
table
do
with
homework and
something.
shit. I'm like that's fucking rad.
Yeah.
I could never. I just sit down and talk shit and that's it.
I mean,
That's
people say
how
that's
I
why
feel
we
like.
they like our podcast. To be honest, it's just
I don't know if I believe them, but all right. If they
it's
say
because
that,
you keep talking shit. That's why. Specifically, that's why.
classic.
Yeah.
Love that.
But yeah. Yeah. Finals week sucks, and I sympathize with all of our listeners who are
Fuck
going through
finals
that
week.
shit.
Tests are the way that the government likes to keep you down.
Yep.
That's my take.
Amongst a lot of other things that the government has
You know
the
who said
ability to
that?
keep people down.
Avalanche in X-Men Evolution season 1 episode 2.
Yeah, you've been
I'm
watching
watching
that
X-Men
shit
Evolution.
now. Yeah,
I do. It's a good fucking show. It's a great show.
Really?
Jennifer's the best.
Okay.
She's so funny. It's a good show. It's like
cool.
it's
It
a very good.
looks well animated. I like the animation style. I like the character designs.
Yeah, and it's like really like it's cool stuff. It's a good show.
Yeah. I also know there's
But,
that one bit with Deadpool or something that's a YouTube video that has like 5 million views
Evolution?
that I keep seeing. Yeah, from Evolution, I think.
Is it the thing where he turns into Deadpool for 2 seconds?
Maybe, I don't know. I remember when I was a kid, I'd always see this YouTube video and it's Deadpool.
I think you might be thinking of the 80s show.
No, it wasn't the 80s show.
think
It wasn't like
wasn't?
bulky like that. It was like the slender animation style.
Oh, interesting.
And I was like, that looks like it's from the Batman 2004. But no, it wasn't. It was probably from that show.
Deadpool versus the Batman. Who would win?
What are we, fucking Death Battle, Death Battle, Death
That's
Match.
us, Death Battle. You
Yeah.
know us.
Yep.
Now we're gonna make a short film about it. That is really cool. I do really respect that they would do that shit. That's
Yeah.
fucking sick. Because it's
Yeah.
like
I
you can't just
mean,
make because you can't. That's the thing. You can't just make a short film of two characters fighting
yeah.
because that's illegal. That's copyright
You
infringement.
have to. You have
But if
to.
you spend like 10 minutes talking about it first and then you make the short film,
Yeah.
fair use, fucking rad. You made a
Yeah.
video essay.
Yep.
I love it. I think it's
I
genius.
should.
I
I
wish I
would.
could be that smart.
I wish I would do that. They did one that was like the Winter Soldier versus Jason Todd. That was
Yeah,
really
that was
well
a good one.
produced.
The Hawkeye Green Arrow one, I really because
That's
the Ismahawk people started doing that. They started
yeah.
doing the
Yep.
short films for it. It was fucking the coolest thing.
Aren't the Ismark
Uh,
people behind? Isn't Danny Shepard behind the Red Hood Winter Soldier one too, or is that not
yeah,
him?
yeah, yeah. They did. I think they did a lot of the live action stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Their set
hell yeah,
production
love
has
them.
gotten really, really
They're
good.
great.
Yeah.
They're the coolest. I'm trying to find a segue. What did you do this week, Mithi? Besides finals?
But you know what I did do this week? I slept, and it was a waking nightmare. Moon Knight.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say I slept, just like I did while watching Moon Knight.
I did also sleep. Wow.
I was like, oh, you had the perfect,
That would
perfect
have
bit
been
right there.
good. I wasn't feeling mean enough to say that, but you were, so
Uh,
good on you. I
Listen,
did
there are gonna be
sleep
people from
during.
the main channel here, and they're gonna be like, oh, he didn't like it.
Mm,
That's mean.
I that's not. I liked some of it. You
No, I
also
know.
liked some
Yeah,
of it. Admit
I like
it.
some of it as well. I know.
You're an MCU shield too.
That's me. You know me,
Secretly,
big
yeah.
MCU shill. I have walked out of. Wait, no, Eternals. Most MCU movies I've seen recently, I have walked out of being like, I enjoyed that. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Which you think the MCU hater that is myself would be like, grrr,
They're
all the
all
time.
like, as much as any of us shit on them, they are meant to be entertaining movies.
They're fun,
And to
yeah.
some
Even
level,
like,
they
even
all
yeah,
are. I
they're
dare
entertaining
say,
and stuff.
even
And then you
parts of
see
Far From Home are in fact entertaining.
like the baby goat
Parts.
scene.
Yeah,
Your
baby goat.
favorite scene, the
Oh,
baby
baby
goat
goat.
scene.
Yeah, I love the
Oh,
baby goat scene.
no, yeah, it's the stuff that you see like after the fact, after thinking about it for more than like 20 seconds. You
Yeah,
know, it's the
exactly.
stuff that you see after watching it on a smaller screen and being like, oh, why
Yeah,
is the street made entirely out of CGI? You know,
yeah.
like that kind of shit.
It's stuff that you
Um,
see when it's 6 episodes long and it kind of drags out a lot of stuff that doesn't necessarily need to be dragged out, and then you're kind of
uh,
tired and you sleep during the last five
yeah.
minutes of episode 3. Um,
um,
I
yeah,
Ethan
but
Hawke said that shit, and it didn't have any factor
what?
on the entire
Oh, you
plot.
mean how Ethan Hawke didn't have any factor on the show at all? Wait,
Yeah.
what shit did he say? Because you could be talking about anything.
Ooh, yeah, that's right.
So
We're
okay,
talking about the
everybody.
Before trilogy. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. We the Moon Knight finale came out this week.
Yeah, that's right.
And we kind of I think the reason we skipped last week is because I didn't want to say too many nice things about episode 5 before the finale, which
Yeah,
I knew was going to be disappointing.
yeah.
And so now I'm like, I'm glad we didn't do that.
The moment they said the runtime for that episode was going to be 40 minutes, I was like,
Why the
WandaVision.
fuck was it so short?
Yeah,
Why the
yeah,
fuck was it? It's ridiculous.
yeah.
It's so funny.
I'm.
But
I
do you
Did
want
they
to talk
cut
thoughts on the
stuff?
finale, or then talk about the show as a whole? How do you want to go
We
about this?
could. I mean, you said you watched the show as a whole, right? What did that
Yeah.
change for you?
Like, so my whole thing, this whole show has been like, I don't really like Steven.
Hmm.
Like, I can't connect with him. It's like, and a big part of it is the silly accent, which episode 5 kind of rectified a bit for me, because I did
Yeah.
really like. I like some of the revelations in there. Granted, that episode also had some of the issues with the Jewish heritage and stuff, but like overall, episode 5 was like pretty great and kind of put the show into a perspective
Yeah.
that like I really enjoyed. Namely, because we finally got to figure out what the fuck was going on with him. You know, we got to actually figure out a single glimmer of his backstory and his personality and his character.
Yeah.
As opposed to kind of keeping it, but mostly like Steven and Mark, but mostly Mark. Like, it's just been this like mystery of like, who is Mark Spector? We hear about things, we're told things, but we never like saw anything. Finally, we got to see stuff, and I'm like, okay, cool, I like this guy, you know. But that's the second to last episode.
Yeah.
And so it's just
And
and then you go
what's
to the
left
finale.
is 40
like,
minutes. Yeah, as if
what's
it's
left
a
is a
movie.
40-minute action scene, essentially. Marvel, any standard Marvel Act 3.
Yeah.
But going back through it with the added knowledge of like the backstory and then like some of the twists they do in the finale, like I ended up liking Steven a lot more. I still don't love him. I still think that the accent is still a little too silly. It
Yeah.
makes sense that it's silly, but I'm like, I get it now, and I was able to connect with him a little bit better at the very least, just because like the pacing of the show is a fucking disaster when you watch it weekly. It's
Yeah.
just atrocious. Brian says it's the worst paced show he's ever seen. I kind of agree.
Yeah.
Like we were always like an episode behind, you know.
Yep.
Like episode 2 should have been, you know, been the episode
Yep.
end of episode 1. Episode 3 should have been episode 2, and episode 4, you know.
Yep.
And like watching that weekly where you have like a week to think about it and you only get that chunk of story for the week, it's like this is terrible. Like there's no progression, everything feels like filler.
Yeah.
When you binge it all in a day like I did, me and Olivia, after the finale came out the next day, I was like, fuck, I'll just watch the whole thing. She watched with me.
Did you begrudgingly watch it, or were you actually interested?
I begrudgingly watched it.
I was gonna say,
yeah.
if I were you, it would have been hard for me to do that.
But because like by doing that, like a lot of those pacing issues were fixed for the most part. I mean, there was still kind of the ever present like, oh, the finale is not great, and I always feel like there's not enough time. But at the very least, I'm like, okay, I get it. Like I get what's going on here. I get the 6-hour movie. It's not as bad as the six episode weekly show.
Yeah.
That's not like a good thing, you know, because
Yeah.
the show comes out weekly. It's supposed to be viewed weekly, you know, like that's how it's produced.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think it's insane that like you have to wait 6 weeks to binge it for it to be any good.
Yeah. I think something like The Boys season 2, although I do think that is better than Moon Knight in a lot of ways. When people watched it, since it was coming out weekly by week, people were kind of pissed off because it was taking its time, because you could clearly tell it was meant to be a binge. And then when I re-binged,
well, even with The Boys, it's like each episode has its own story.
Yeah,
each episode is its own, for lack of a better term, Dan Harmon circle story. You know, that's the way he tells the stories. He's got the 8 points on a circle and shit. And that's how every Rick and Morty episode is and stuff. And like, you can tell every episode has like a plot, has its own thing going on.
Whereas with
versus
this, it's
like
all
with Moon
meant
Knight,
to be linked. Yeah,
episode 3 literally just serves as filler,
and almost
just to kind of add issues. You know,
every Disney Plus show, to a certain extent, has been that, right? Except arguably the first half of WandaVision, maybe.
And like you could argue with that is because WandaVision was like intended to be a show from the start, and they lean really heavily into each episode as its own style.
Yeah,
up until the end, and towards the end when they drop that is where it starts to get muddy.
Yeah,
you know.
You could also, I guess, make a case that Barry is a little bit less fluid with that, where a single episode of Barry won't accomplish the same as like the previous episode of Barry.
Yeah,
like,
it's hard to say. I haven't watched Barry weekly, so I don't know. I think I've binged both seasons.
So the first, I mean, the next episode's coming out soon, but the first 2 episodes are kind of like that, where it's like you kind of want to watch both together, and like once you're, but that show is different because it hooks you from the beginning, kind of with this premise. Whereas these shows, it's like the story is supposed to hook us as we keep going, and with something like,
or at the very least, the characters should.
Yeah, and my main problem with Moon Knight is, as much as I think compared to a lot of the other shows, it is still good. I'm not going to say it's a bad show, but because it is a good show. Because like compared to shit like parts of Hawkeye that I didn't love, and compared to stuff like I'm trying to think of other, like, even parts of WandaVision that I didn't really love, Moon Knight is kind of better than some of that, and especially episode 5 helps bring those things together.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, none of these characters are really pushing me to continue the story. I'm just watching it week by week because, oh, it's a Marvel thing, and I kind of get some enjoyment out of it. And like, this didn't really, I wanted to do something new, and I guess it on a technical level did a couple new things, but not to the extent where I thought it was something like spectacular or like extremely unique.
Definitely. I think like episode 5 is like, and my thing with it, and like I showed you my Letterboxd MCU ranking, and I have Moon Knight pretty low on there.
Yeah.
For the reason of like, I'm the most disappointed in Moon Knight.
Yeah.
You know, like WandaVision and Falcon and like, I know like Loki's cool. I know a lot of people are into Loki. Loki's not really my thing, but I get why people are into it. Like they are all like at least consistent, and I was never like, oh, this idea was totally fucked up and wasted.
And then it just went,
you know, like they fulfilled for the most part, they fulfilled kind of all the potential.
Yeah.
Maybe Hawkeye didn't. I didn't see Hawkeye, so like I can't say that for sure.
I need to rewatch Hawkeye. It's not that I remember loving episode 3, 4, and 5, and then just falling off completely. So maybe it's bad. Maybe it's not as bad as I make it seem.
And with Moon Knight though, it's like, from what I know, from the little I've read of Moon Knight in the comics, he's fucking sick. He's a great character. And
Yeah.
from the other things I've heard about the things I haven't read, I'm like, I love this. This sounds so interesting.
Yeah.
And then when the show brought up all these interesting ideas of like the DID and like the Jake Lockley mystery and like all these other things, and I was like, this is really cool. This is really interesting. And then the show decided, no, that's season 2, or
Yeah.
no, that's the real story is the big god monster that
Yeah.
fights the other
That
big
was
god. It's just
horrible.
it felt like
I
so much
because
potential was thrown
as we
away.
were as we were watching the finale, you could just kind of feel it more and more and more
Yeah,
as like a new story beat got added. Where I'm
and
like,
I
oh, okay, that's how you're gonna
and
end
I
it.
think like in
Oh,
watching it in binge actually made that worse
oh, really?
because I'm able to remember like all the times Jake Lockley was hinted at. In the first
Yeah,
phase, it's hinted as far back as the first episode.
yeah, yeah.
And they
Basically,
build up to this and they build up this mystery, and then it's like, no, that's not actually what we're
no,
doing.
it's just the
You
ending.
know,
That reminds me of another thing that was kind of built up throughout the episodes of the show, only to turn out to be kind of a letdown at the end. I'm not
talking
going to
about
say
Ralph
what it
Boner.
was. Yeah, kind of. Not the
I
same because that's like a complete joke. This isn't a
Yeah,
complete joke, but I
this
will
is just set
say,
up for season 2, which we may not even get.
yeah. And if
Yeah,
we don't get a season 2, then yes, it is a complete joke. I'll
yeah,
say that.
and like it's like other there were other like it's just I see these ideas in the show. I see the Jake Lockley mystery. I see the question about whether Khonshu is real. The question about whether Mark is imagining everything. The question about like so much other like even like the Layla's dad stuff. I don't really like the Layla
Yeah,
character.
that's right. I forgot
Like
that
that's
that's
a
a
whole thing. That's a really important thing for the relationship, and we do, this is what's insane to me. And we'll talk about Layla, I guess. Everything with Layla, or everything with Layla and her dad, and like the
mm.
kind of like her plot, we're just told about. We are told about her dad. We're told how important he was
Yeah.
to her. We're told like how he
The
was with
only
her and
time we ever
everything.
see it is just like him on the vision. That's it.
We see his body,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Yeah.
But we're told from we're told from Ethan Hawke, the villain,
Yeah.
about the big mistake, quote unquote
Yeah.
mistake
Because
that
he's just
Mark
sitting there on
made in
a
the
rock like
relationship.
he's in
And
before sunrise.
it's like instead we're getting scenes with Layla of her making a passport with this random lady, getting exposition
Is that her
of
mom?
her stopping. I don't think it's her mom. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I don't
She's
know.
British. I don't know. I don't fucking.
Yeah.
We're getting that, and we're getting a scene of her just this weird action scene, and like as cool as that monster thing was, what did that add to the where? What the
Where
fuck
the
was
fuck did the
that? That thing
mummies
came out
come from?
because the all the like magical monster things never
Just
once come back. The
they just
fucking
have
jackal and
he
that scary guy. He was very scary, and I
remember
liked
when
him.
he was like mummifying the guy in front of us and we were like, ooh, that's
What
like the
is
first time something like
like
that's
you'd think
happened in
that'd
the
be a thing.
MCU.
It felt like
No.
something out of a completely different movie, and it
It
was a
is
cool movie.
that scene happens and then the final
Mhm.
episode has the big kaiju fight. It's like
Yeah,
that's where I'm like,
it's
huh?
just and so because we're only told things about that character, and I know there are a lot of people that like her and connect with her, and I
Mm.
respect that and stuff. I personally didn't because of that,
Yeah.
and so then we don't really know anything about her. We don't really like feel that. So then when they give her powers, I'm like, okay, they just felt it feels like they give
Mm,
her powers to give her powers,
yeah, yeah.
But
Because
I
that
do
wasn't
after doing the
hinted at
research
either,
on
right?
it, I
And then
do. Wait, what?
that wasn't hinted at. Was the scarab
They
supposed
hint
to be a
at
hint at that?
so her dad, and this is the thing, we don't see this, we're told this
Hmm.
is her dad used to call her his little scarab, which that's cute, I like that. And
Okay,
then
yeah.
she'd be like, that's some nice build up, but we're only told that.
Like
Why didn't we get a
once,
scene
yeah.
of child Layla and her dad? That's literally
Yeah.
it's show don't tell, and like that's the basic fundamentals of shit.
Yeah.
But like but I do with Layla, like the one thing I do really like is that the Scarlet Scarab character, which that is who she is she's like the daughter of that comic character, and she's like kind of original character.
Hmm.
The character in the comics is this kind of racist depiction of Egyptian people. It's
Oh.
like it has not aged well, like at all, the
Uh,
Scarab character. And so I'm kind of like, oh, that's cool. It's cool that they took that and then they kind of rebranded it to be some kind of more empowering thing.
yeah.
You know, I just wish it was kind of handled better. Maybe even push it to season 2, just because like there was so much stuff they were doing in the finale
When the
that
last
threw away a lot of interesting ideas.
yeah, when the penultimate episode is so focused on everything Mark and everything Steven,
it's all Mark and Steven. You'd think that would
yeah,
be the
you
main
kind of
thing.
forget about Layla, and then going into the finale, you don't really think about what's going on with Layla, and especially
Yeah,
those scenes with her being possessed. I'm like, why are we having this for like 2 minutes? This
yeah,
should be stuff that we're moving on from, but
yeah,
I mean, it's just paced awkwardly because you
yeah.
don't get any of that in the previous episode, so it doesn't make
Yeah.
any sense in the
I
next
would have
episode.
honestly, I think Brian said it, just save the entire Layla character for season 2,
Yeah,
you know?
That
Um,
could be your surprise at the end of like, I have a wife, you know,
well,
but
because
like,
I think the reason that they didn't show because the other thing they didn't show is they didn't show Mark killing her dad, or Mark he didn't kill her dad, but Mark being involved in the death of
yeah,
her dad. I think the reason they didn't show that is because they don't want to cast Bushman just yet, because
okay.
Bushman's like a
I
big
thought it
Moon
was
Knight
because Jake
character.
kills her dad.
Oh, that. Oh no, I don't know.
No,
Mark was the mercenary. Well, no, Mark. This was. Oh no, no, he had all the altars before that.
yeah,
Uh, I would assume that if they just make it that Jake kills her dad, that's way less interesting. What the fuck? Uh,
yeah.
I I don't know. I think Mark. The fact that Mark remembers it, I think it is him. I don't
Okay,
think it's
yeah,
Jake.
yeah,
I
okay,
think that
yeah,
would lose a lot of the interesting aspects of that
yeah,
dynamic.
okay, okay.
But it's like we don't even see a scene of him in his mercenary crew with Layla's dad like being
Yeah,
killed.
it's we don't
Like
see any of
we're
his
just told
remorse
about
other
it by
than
Ethan Hawke. We don't get a flashback. We don't get anything.
the only time we
And I
see him
think that's because they
remorseful
didn't want to
about it
catch
is when he's
Bushman.
about to die. And then they're
Yeah,
like, I name you my new Moon Knight, and then he becomes Moon Knight.
yeah.
And I'm like, okay, all right.
And
Let's
like that, like, I think
move on.
they could have like built to that in an interesting way of like or have an early flashback showing Mark and that
Yeah,
and Layla's dad, and then Layla's dad dies, and then later we find out that's Layla's dad. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
that could have been an interesting buildup of information, but instead it's just kind of like, here you go.
yeah.
Um,
Also,
and
I
just
saw
in general,
something.
like it's just a lot of potential of wasted ideas because they were focusing on things that weren't particularly interesting to me. You know,
Yeah,
and that's what disappoints me the most. You know, and that's why I kind of rank it so low.
yeah,
It's just like disappointment is worse than being actively bad.
yeah. That's like I'm trying to think of something. Like, I mean, that's the reason why the second Spider-Man MCU movie is on the bottom of a lot of people's list
Yeah,
because
it's not a terrible movie.
yeah,
It's
it's
just the
just
most
sad.
disappointing
Yeah,
after Homecoming. Yeah,
yeah, because it's Spider-Man.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like with Moon Knight, I just as the finale kept going, and I was just like, okay, all right, I know what's gonna happen. I know
yeah.
everything that's gonna happen, and I'm just too
They
tired. And
the
that's
finale could have been a single action scene at the end of
I
episode
think the
5 or something.
finale, my hot take, I know people
Hmm.
hate the WandaVision finale. I think this is kind of a worse finale. Not that
Hmm.
it's the most comparative thing, but like with WandaVision, like I can understand a couple of things, although there was a lot of dumb moments. But let's admit it, this also had a lot of dumb moments too.
Yeah,
And like when the kaiju shit happened, I was like, okay, fuck you, and everything you're
yeah.
trying to do right now. And I
I
mean,
would
the fight
say
scenes were cool, but like, at what cost? You know, at the cost of speeding
what
this entire
cost?
story
Yeah,
to whatever the fuck this is now.
yeah. I would say the WandaVision finale is like the show overall. I liked episode. How many episodes was WandaVision? 10?
9.
9.
Yeah,
I liked episodes 1 through 8 like a lot. Or 1 through 7 a lot, and then 8 was like pretty okay, and then
I loved episode 8, but okay.
it was a show that was like constantly like getting better and better and stuff, and then the
Yeah,
finale ended up being kind of just standard Marvel, which is like
yeah,
for now, like we'll just say is like 5 out of 10 mediocre, right?
yeah,
Versus Moon Knight was kind of ranging a lot in there, and then the really highs of episode 5 were way higher than what WandaVision was doing.
yeah.
But the finale, I wouldn't say the finale is worse. No, yeah, I wouldn't say the finale itself is worse, but it's like the radical change between episode 5 and episode
Is
6
bigger. Yeah,
is way bigger than episode 8 to episode 9.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so to me, it's way more disappointing because it's like the WandaVision finale was like, okay, there's a fight, but that's kind of lame. And the Rough Boner
You can
stuff
kind of
is really
tell what's
lame.
gonna happen here. Here, you can tell, but only
It's
midway
like
through the episode.
it's not terrible. It's like I get it. I get why the decisions were made. But
Yeah,
with Moon Knight, I'm just like, these were just kind of wasted opportunities,
yeah,
you know?
yep.
Yeah.
And it's just that entire fight. I want to say is all mostly generic Marvel, right? Is there anything in there that like sticks out as like this is
In
cool?
WandaVision or in
And no, in Moon Knight,
Moon Knight? No, I
like I
mean, like
guess the one take
I
fight, but
liked
even then,
Brian said it. I liked when he did
the
the
jacket
little brush
thing.
his shoulders off.
I
That was
didn't
kind of
notice
cool.
that. I only noticed that later when I saw it on a
I
tweet.
noticed it on the second time. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, like there's. I mean, it's cool because it's like that hallway stuff. Not hallways, but the long take.
yeah.
I guess I'll call it a hallway fight. It was more like a
It's a
street fight.
fun scene.
It's a practical fight. That's pretty sick. I think my thing with like I don't like the Mr. Knight suit very much because the white glowy eyes make it look CG.
Yeah, you want to see it with the
Even
eyes.
though I know it's probably practical,
Yeah,
if you look at that poster where you see his eyes, it looks so much cooler.
yeah,
It
yep.
looks way like
He looks like
scarier
you're gonna
and
beat
like
the shit out of you in
yeah,
that poster. Yeah,
like I'm scared of that fucking
yeah.
guy.
Now when
This
I look
guy's
at him with the
Deadpool.
white eyes, all I can think of is either
Yeah,
Deadpool or Wagwams.
yeah,
There's the only two
exactly.
things I can think of. So
Yeah. And so I think if they like cut I saw the practical suit of that in general, the Moon Knight suit was covered with CG too.
Yeah.
The practical suit has eye cutouts, like for like stunts.
Yeah, like
It
straight
looks
up. Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
It looks so cool.
It's just like
I
he's
kind
wearing
of
a
prefer
mask
that.
on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I don't know. Like why can't we see Oscar Isaac's face? You
I
know?
wonder if that's something they would do because I mean he relinquishes at the end of the show, he relinquishes Steven and Mark from being Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Which I would assume that means they can't just wear the suit and beat the shit out of people anymore, unless Mark beats the shit out of people, right?
I think it's just that Khonshu's going to be hiding with them until something happens, and he's like, "Hey, surprise! I saved your life. I'm still here."
Yeah.
You
Okay.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
because the whole thing, and that's the other, because the relationship with Khonshu I felt like was totally wasted,
Yeah.
because
Yep.
Khonshu fucking sucks.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing, and like that's a big part of the Lemire run is like a band is like breaking that relationship
Yeah.
and
And
like
this doesn't
you
end
know
it as a tease for season two, but that's not
yeah.
sad. That's not narratively satisfying. So it's
it's
still
it's
just like
kind of
an
the same.
open
It's
end.
almost like ironically it is kind of like Loki, where I'm like, okay, season 2 is where I feel
Yeah.
like the stuff I'm interested in is going to happen.
Yeah.
But I'm like, we know Loki's getting a season 2 because the production just was cut midway through for COVID reasons.
Yeah.
But Moon Knight, we don't know if it's getting a season 2. They never knew they were getting a season
They
2.
seem
So
like they don't.
this was their
Behind the
plan, and
scenes,
I'm
they
like,
always talk as if they don't want it. They're like, "We just did the season one, and maybe we'll do a season two, but we don't
like
know."
I maybe it'll be a hate watch, but it's like I want season 2 explicitly just because it's like, can you please prove to me that these ideas are in fact interesting and I'm not
Yeah.
crazy?
Can you please prove to me that this Spanish man is actually a good character and not just a
The
joke?
fucking yeah, the Jake Lockley is Spanish thing. Brian and I were talking about this.
Yeah.
We both think it's maybe this is like not our place and stuff. We think it's kind of weird to have the one that's the brutal murderer
Be the
be the
guy who
one that
speaks
doesn't speak
Spanish.
English.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of that feel like it's obviously not the intent,
Yeah.
but it comes across a little gross,
Yeah.
you know. And I understand the decision to make because it's like it's Oscar's like heritage and stuff, and you want to respect that
Yeah.
in
Because
this
he's
character and stuff.
Guatemalan.
That's pretty interesting. That's cool. Then why couldn't Steven have been Spanish?
Yeah.
And then because
Because he's in
Robert
Europe.
Lockley's a
Yeah.
Robert Lockley or Jake. I keep calling him Robert Lockley. I know his name is Jake Lockley. I'm stupid. Um, because Jake Lockley's a British ass name,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like he's a cab driver. That very much sounds like he would be Cockney or
And he
something.
doesn't. Cockney. Jake
Like
Cockney.
you, Jake Cockney. Fuck. And like and the lack of the mustache
Yeah.
hurts.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking.
He got to get one of them Justice League anti-filter, like the opposite of the Justice League.
The
filter.
opposite of what, yeah, a CGI
Yeah.
added on mustache.
Yeah,
That's what I do all
exactly.
the time. Actually, this is
Yeah.
just a zoom filter.
That's just a filter. Unironically, the zoom filters are actually not bad compared to what happens in that movie. That's all I'll say.
I'm like I mean, he can clearly grow a mustache because he grew one in
Again,
Sucker Punch.
he grows that man grows a beard so fucking fast.
He really does. That's right.
Like
In
he
Dune
will
too.
shave, and then like he will show up on a like he'll be shaved for like a premiere or something like that, and then 3 or 4 days
And
later,
then the movie, he
will-
has a beard. Well,
and
that's
he will have
crazy.
no, but he'll be like on late night a couple days later, and it'll just be like a little bit more, and I'll be like, "What the? How the
The
fast did your hair
testosterone
grow?"
of that man, we could
Yeah,
never.
yeah. It's in the
We're comic
jawline.
book people. We're
It's-
into comic books. We could never have that.
No, it's in the jawline. It's all in the jawline. It's
Yeah.
it's just something happens there, and it's magical. It's that's his Moon Knight suit. It's his beard that just keeps growing, and so
Yeah.
he can do it, but he just didn't do it for the show, which is disappointing. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't have anything other crazy to say about this show. I've said most of my shit on Twitter, just of it not being good, and that kind of it's sad, but like they probably will get a season 2, right? I don't see it. Is there a
Yeah,
reason
we'll
for them
see.
not to get a season 2, unless Oscar Isaac says no?
I guess if they don't want to, or if maybe, I mean, response has been pretty positive.
Yeah,
But like,
because
I don't
my
know.
friend
We'll
who
see.
doesn't like a lot of Marvel shit these days said he really liked Moon Knight. So it's like the people outside of my little circle just tell me that the show they enjoy the show. So
Oh,
at
we
least that's a
forgot
good
to
thing.
mention. We forgot to mention. Are you an Egyptian superhero? I am. And
That's
and flying away.
yeah.
I got no comments on that. Actually, never
Yeah.
mind. That's all I'm gonna.
Eh,
Um.
it is.
No,
what
I
it is.
think
It's
like as a
fun.
show, it's a fine show until you like take even a glance at the source material and you're like, oh shit, that's way cooler.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, like, and then on top of like the Jewish backstory stuff, like that's far like I told Olivia about that, and she was like, wait, what? That's so much better. Like
Mhm, yeah.
she was like excited to read those comics, and I think that's the whole point of these shows, is to make people excited to read the stories.
Yeah.
And when you cut these like really interesting aspects away from that in in your adaptation and make it just kind of like
People
I
think the
wouldn't say
comics are
it's
also
standard
gonna
Marvel. Yeah,
yeah.
people are just going to think the comics are
Because
like
now
that,
when
and
you
it's
say
like
Moon Knight fans, you're always gonna think of the show, because it's a
I don't know if
show,
I'm
and it's
always
like
going to think the show.
well, no,
Yeah, but
us, we will, but, like, in popular circles, we're like, "Oh, yeah, that was, like, a Disney Plus show," or something like that, right? Because
yeah,
people only digest the MCU shit. So if this is bad, it's gonna make people think that the comics are bad. That's what
yeah,
usually happens.
which
And
like
so
that's upsetting.
yeah. But I guess if people
Yeah.
do think it's good, then people will maybe think the comic is good, and people might check out the comic.
Yeah,
So I guess
exactly. Yeah.
that's a good side to
I
all of
do
this.
worry that like I think Xavier said it in his video, it's like these changes might end up rippling into the comics for a
Comics, because that's
while.
what they do,
Like
yeah.
probably for a run we'll get something where it is
Especially
really
with something
big
like Moon
crazy
Knight where it
Egyptian
always
magic,
changes.
you know.
Yeah,
And that I
yeah.
guess that is kind of the Bemis run, but like I don't know, like we'll see, I guess. With Moon Knight there's so many, I guess every run is different, which
Yeah.
is kind of interesting. So if they do end up doing that, it'll most likely just be for one writer.
Yeah. I
Um
will say I saw two things on Twitter. One, an Eternal was just supposed to show up in Moon Knight
I did see
and help
that,
with the
and I
costume.
think was it
Josh had the
Josh
best
paid us the
tweet.
pixels? He said they were about to have a mid off. I'm like, oh, fuck, I love you, Josh.
Yeah,
That's so fucking
that's
funny.
pretty perfect. And then the person who designed the costumes for Moon Knight said if Jake Lockley were to have a costume, if we do a season 2 or some shit, it would probably be the black suit, like the suit that's like white and black.
Okay,
He has it in the Lemire run, I think. It's like the more
yeah,
like modern looking suit with like curves and shit, and you see more of the like the
I
animated
think I know
shows
which
do
one
that.
you're talking about. Yeah,
Yeah, which would be cool. Very
would
texturally
he have the
different from the
mustache though? That's the question.
probably not. It
If
would
he
be
doesn't
on
have the
the
mustache, it's a
suit.
waste of my
It
time.
would be on the suit actually. It wouldn't be on
Yeah,
him. You
that'd be
put
there we go. Now we're
yeah,
talking.
there we go. Yeah, it
I
actually
just
be Oscar
like
Isaac's beard piercing through the fabric.
I don't know. I think the big really like we can go into like nitty gritty shit any like whenever, but like at the end of the day, it is just like a lot of interesting ideas that just kind of got I
Yeah,
just disappointed by, you know.
yeah,
And maybe that's just a sign for me to read the books, and I think I will. I'll Brian gave me a list of things to read, and
yeah. I
I'll
need
get into
to.
those.
I read like one issue of Lemire's run. I need to read the actual thing because
Yeah,
I
I've read a few issues of that, and I was just really into the ideas and stuff.
yeah. But yeah,
And I just I think I really think the best way to have done the show is if they're really stuck with 6 episodes, right? If they're really stuck with the 6 hour single movie.
yeah.
We should have met Moon Knight in another movie. Like I hate to be this fucking guy. I hate to
Mhm.
be the like Marvel guy. We should have met Moon Knight in something else.
And then
And
brought him into
so
this.
we
So
don't need to go through this like who are all these things, and like 2 3 episodes go by and then we start the actual story,
that is kind
you know.
of the strength of something like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, to be
Yeah,
honest.
like we know the characters and like go straight into the story, you
Yeah,
know,
the
like we're
only
not
purpose
afraid of
of the
that
first episode is to establish what these characters are like in the now phase
on
4
their
stuff.
own in a
Yeah,
on a day-to-day level, which we've never
exactly. And then
seen.
we can just
But it's
keep
like we know
rolling.
their names, we know their basic shit
Yeah.
versus
Which
like
is what I
with
thought the
yeah.
purpose of all these shows was going to be. And now it's just to introduce characters that they don't have time for movies.
Yeah, I
And
think
it's
it's the thing
weird.
that's really disappointing, and this is so shitty.
Hmm.
Uh, essentially, and we'll talk about it with Doctor Strange too.
Yeah.
Essentially, every character that like I have been into from Marvel,
Yeah.
uh, like that, like outside of the movies, like just knowing like every comic character that I've been into, like on my own,
Yeah.
Marvel has got a fucked up
Really?
with. I mean, they ended up fixing Spider-Man
Yeah,
potentially, but
kind of.
like Spider-Man wasn't great for a while.
Yeah.
Uh, Moon Knight, I'm not a huge fan of what they're doing. Miss
Yeah.
Marvel, I'm not a huge fan of what they're doing.
Yeah.
Another character, I'm not a huge fan of what they're doing. They're probably not going to do the X-Men super well. Let's be realistic.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, kind of, I didn't really grow up a Marvel guy, so there is really only like a handful of characters that I'm like really, really into.
Yeah.
And every one of them, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
come on.
But at least you got to enjoy your spaghetti that you had
At least
today,
I actually
right?
enjoy my
You did
spaghetti.
get to enjoy eating
Yeah.
your spaghetti. Yeah.
On an unrelated note, do you want to talk about Doctor Strange?
Yeah, I guess
Doctor
final
Strange
Moon. I
mom?
thought go watch
Yeah.
it if you want. Or go read the comic, probably better. Don't
Yeah.
watch Miss Marvel, or do watch Miss Marvel. I don't know. I'm not excited for that shit. But
This
I'll
one's gonna
probably
be a
watch it
shit
anyway.
show, and we're gonna document that. We're gonna document our pain with that show.
That's gonna be a lot of pain. These
It's gonna
backgrounds are
be
gonna get
oh
a lot
boy.
sadder as we keep watching Miss Marvel. Um, but yeah, all right. Speaking of
Yeah,
marvelous things and things that start with the M letter, Multiverse of
you're
Madness.
really good at the segue. You're
That
really
was
good.
fucking terrible. That
That
was
was great.
fucking terrible. Also, quick highlight. I don't know who drew the art for this, but this was
That's
the
really nice.
cast gift on Doctor Strange. This is like the first look that we got from the movie because someone posted this on like Instagram or
That's
something
cool.
on a shirt. I really dig this art. The Doctor Strange is supposed to be like where my mic is, but it's very cool art, and I like it a
That's
lot.
nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that. But all right. A quick 30-second spoiler-free talk of Doctor Strange. Go.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Go. Three, two, one,
Really
go.
fun. I have a letterbox review. Not all of it good, not all of it bad, but super, super, super fun. That was a really fun watch. Compared to this movie, I have not watched a lot of good movies this year, but this was a great movie. So I really like that. Weird script, great performances, kooky visual style that I really loved. Very unique. Four out
Very
of
unique.
five.
Genuinely, you can call this one unique.
I
And like
can.
it
I
was,
can.
it
It's got a
feels right.
unique
Feels
style. Ha
right.
ha ha.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean I have a video on it, but like I would say direction top tier. Sam's a god. Sam fucking killed it. Like holy shit.
Yep.
Sam told just but the story structure is kind of rough for me. It kind of missed out on the idea of Multiverse of Madness of what I was hoping from like a story called that. And you can tell like I don't know what the deal is with the behind the scenes of the script and stuff, but like the
You can
script is
tell that it
kind of
was a
rough. And I
story,
say
and then
that
they
and I
dated
say
the
that not
story.
in a I say the script is rough, not in a oh I don't like the things that happen, because that's not a script thing. I say that in like a these events don't really fit, like like the build up to certain things of like where is the like that might be an editing thing, but to me that
Would you
happened
call
at a
that
script level
pacing?
first. It's
Because I
not
don't want
necessarily pacing, it's more so like what the fuck, where did this come from, you know?
events
It's
themselves. Yeah. Okay.
events themselves of like this thing just wasn't set up right and this doesn't feel like it should have existed. It's not a matter of like the scenes were edited weird, it's like scenes are just inherently gone,
Yeah.
you know? And again, they might have been, I don't think they were cut, I
There
don't,
was
you know,
40
there's no mention
minutes
of that.
that was cut from this, but I think it wasn't like without Raimi's intent. I think they just cut it down, and then they cut it down a little more.
Yeah,
So,
but
but
that overall a good movie.
yeah.
I've watched it twice now. You've watched it twice or
You
one and a
gave
half
it a
times.
3.5, and I give it a 4 because I'm an MCU shill.
I gave it a 3.5 to 4, and you gave it a 3.5 to 4.
Yeah.
I'm on your letterbox, like
Everyone has been
your
giving
review.
it. Every review has been either a 75% or an 80% that
Like
I've seen.
it's very much like on a, if I were just to watch the first half, it'd be a 3.5.
Yeah.
If I were just to watch the second half, it would be 4.5.
Yeah.
But it's the middle is like okay 4. You
Yeah.
know, like
It's
it's but it depends.
it very much depends from review.
Ratings don't exist. These
Yeah.
numbers are never real.
No,
They
yeah.
you yeah.
It is just funny that all of them have been
I give it a
bear
thumbs
the
up.
same. Oh no! Where'd it
What
go?
the fuck?
Oh no! Your thumb went into the
All right,
multiverse
well
of
never mind.
madness.
Fuck me. I guess I hate this movie now.
Yeah, it was actually coming out from the bottom.
Yeah.
Weirdly.
But that's our spoiler free talk. If you've not
Yeah.
seen Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, go see Everything Everywhere All at Once, and then go see Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness,
Yeah,
and then
yep.
come back.
Because support your theaters because they've been showing this shit everywhere. Like it's
Yeah, it's like
fucking
70
crazy.
screenings at
70
AMC.
showings
That's
in Times Square.
insane.
What the fuck, bro?
I mean, it is nice because it's like there's fewer people in the theater.
Yeah.
So I feel safer.
I think that's why they cut it down for
COVID.
20 minutes too, is that they could have like a fuck ton of showings for it
Yeah,
as well.
I feel that.
Because like
Yeah.
2 hours, zippity zappity, you go and come out 70 showings easy.
Classic Sam Raimi line, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so if you do not want to get spoiled, this is your spoiler warning. We're gonna talk spoilers.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. There you go.
Spaghetti.
All right. I love spaghetti.
You
Spaghetti
love-
is yummy. It's very
so
satisfying.
tasty. It's extremely tasty to eat spaghetti. Did you
Oh, fuck.
see?
Look at-
Did you get that spoiled for you? Because I know.
Yes,
we
I did.
Got okay. You got him.
I
dying
got
spoiled.
so
Okay.
I had two things, but I had that Jim from The Office is going to be Reed Richards.
Yeah.
For the cameo. That was like kind of a rumor for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, that was like a leak and stuff, and I was like, all right, that's probably gonna, whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
Marvel leaks tend to be pretty accurate, which is shitty.
Yeah.
And then like 2 days before, somebody posted in a Discord the screenshot of him being murdered,
like,
and I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
And then I was Googling, and then I was on YouTube. I was looking up like the ScreenX thing because I wanted to see how it looked, like
Yeah.
the three screens, because I was thinking about going to that one.
Yeah.
And right below the search result is Illuminati killed in Doctor Strange
Yeah.
Multiverse of Madness. I was like,
So
God
many of
fucking
the
damn it.
YouTube's worse than Twitter, honestly, is YouTube auto suggestions at
Yeah.
just giving you the most fucking
That's why
cam
I don't.
heavy.
YouTube doesn't think I like super. Every time I watch a superhero
Which you're
thing, I
smart
remove
for
it from my
that.
watch
Yeah.
history.
You're,
I delete it from the watch history. YouTube doesn't think I like superheroes. YouTube just recommends me fucking camera shit and tech shit.
yeah.
And I'm like, hell yeah, that's nice.
All I got really spoiled for me was that at one point America Chavez punches Scarlet Witch, and then Reed Richards shows up, and then Black Bolt dies. Those were the things that I
I
knew
didn't.
would happen.
Yeah.
But like, and I also knew that the post credit scene was like Bruce Campbell. That's all
I
I
didn't know
really
that. That was a nice surprise. I was
that
very happy with that.
YouTube was kind of going fun with that. So lucky you, you missed out.
We'll talk about that. We can go chronologically like we usually do.
Let's do that. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll get to the Illuminati stuff
Get to
when we get to the Illuminati stuff.
Spaghetti. The Illuma Spaghetti.
We'll get to Mr. Spaghetti.
Yeah.
It started right.
I
with
guess
the
you could
intro.
say that
Did most things
spaghetti.
do that?
I guess you could say that
What?
spaghetti tasted fantastic. Sorry, that I just had to.
That's
I tried to throw that in there earlier.
You thought you had something with that. You thought that was gonna be the funniest joke of your life.
Yeah, no, it didn't.
Wait,
I thought that was
hang
gonna
on,
be a
hang on.
TikTok clip, and no, it wasn't. Thanks. Thank you. I'm honored. God,
We're a professional podcast. Why is it such a slow reaction when I do it?
Yeah.
What are you saying?
Well, yeah. Where was Sheldon in all the Multiverse of Madness cameos?
Where honestly, okay, imagine Jim Parsons as Mr. Fantastic. We got Jim from The Office, and now we got Jim Parsons.
I did think they were going to throw Deadpool in here somewhere, and they didn't. And honestly, I'm proud of them.
I'm kind of glad they did. The cameos weren't my thing. That's I didn't care about that, which is why like when they got spoiled for me, I was like, I don't really care. That's not the most important thing to me.
Yeah.
I had a dream the night before that it was going to be entirely about them. I had a dream that it starts with John Krasinski, Reed Richards, and he is the second main character. Him and America Chavez are like a thing, and then Doctor Strange is barely in it. I was like, oh, I woke up and I was like, that's a fucking nightmare.
Well,
but that might be the multiverse.
That's the multiverse now. That exists in the multiverse.
I honestly,
that's the movie that exists in the Utopia. In the Utopia. You mean the
city society with socialism?
Yeah,
that's what that is.
Yeah,
free for hell yeah. I really like. We'll get to that, but I really like that. I like that it could like that's a really fun idea about the multiverse that most things don't bring up. Because like dreams are peering into the other universes. That's really cool.
The whole
and like that's fresh and like everything everywhere doesn't do that.
The whole concept of the multiverse, to me, at least in most media, is just that okay, whatever the fuck you want exists somewhere, right? So of course, like if you have a dream about something, it probably exists because the multiverse is fucking infinite. There's going to be a bunch of shit,
Yeah, everything everywhere leaned really hard into the idea of like choices lead to multiple universes and stuff, and like at its core, that is kind of the same thing with this multiverse. That's kind of what Loki was all about.
Yeah,
but like everything everywhere leaned in like a very personal direction. But this was a more kind of fantastical thing that I was cool with. I just felt like we were only in 3 universes. It wasn't, barely did anything.
It wasn't a multiverse of madness as opposed to a 3 worlds of kind of fucked up shit.
Crankiness. Multiverse of crankiness, that's what I'm calling it.
It wasn't how many I mean, there was the thing where they flipped through it, but other than that, it was just...
but even then, like that didn't really feel in depth. But it's like we got like 616, 838, which was the one we were on the most.
The Illuminati.
The one with the one with Evil Doctor Strange, so 3.
That's it, right?
And then the one with because that was also 838. Yeah, so like 3 or maybe 4.
No, that was an 838. Yeah.
The one with Wanda's kids was 838 still.
Yeah, 838 was with the Illuminati. Oh, I guess Defender Strange, but we don't get to see his actual world.
Yeah, we don't actually go to that world, but yeah, I mean we can count that. So 4, and then maybe 5 just for peeps,
shits and giggles.
Whatever. Yeah,
that we missed.
Yeah. What'd you think of that big old opening?
That good opening. It really jumps you into the action at the beginning. I was like, oh fuck, okay.
I'm a big fan of starting on Mithi Res. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's fun. America Chavez was great in this movie.
Yeah, she was.
I loved her.
Yeah,
she was way better than I was. Like the actress is like 15, right?
She's young. Yeah, she's like a teenager.
Yeah, I remember somebody saying she's like 15. She's fucking fantastic. She did a really good job. Yeah, like, good for her. Hell yeah, rocket
and
girl.
she did a really good job because like she's going up against Elizabeth Olsen and Benedict Cumberbatch and like Benedict Cumberbatch's accent too, which that's a
Oh
whole other
yeah.
actor that's in this movie.
You mean Dr. House?
Yeah.
Um,
Crap.
crap.
Illuminati? What's up with the Illuminati?
The Fantastic Four.
Illuminati?
Did you guys chart in the 60s?
Is that what he says? Chart in the 60s?
I
I
think
don't
he
know.
says, yeah, he says chart,
For
which
a
that's
second,
a
I was
cool
like, did he
reveal.
say
We'll get to
shart
that.
in
We'll
the
get to that.
60s? They shit
Did
the
you guys
pants in the
chart? Oh
60s.
fuck, that would be
They
a burn.
I mean, knowing it is Jim Halpert, maybe he did.
But no, that opening was fun. Very, like it's cool. I we'll get to this, but like I feel like the villain shit
Yeah.
is like weird. The way they handled that stuff, like there's just
Oh,
this big demon, and we don't. I guess like we
no,
don't
what
know.
it
We
was?
we
He
we
has
assume that
runes,
it's
I
just a
guess.
demon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like we'll get to that, but like cool scene. I really really like what they do with Strange in this movie, and I think Cole asked this Critical Rants on YouTube, so
Mm.
everybody go subscribe because this is on the main channel. Haha.
Yeah, and he has a new video. Check it out.
He has a new video. Yeah, it's really good.
Mm.
He asked like how we felt about the arc and stuff. I really liked this whole arc with
Yeah.
Strange
It
about
wasn't
like
like heavy, it was like parts of it were heavy, but it wasn't that what?
no, sorry, no, yeah, sorry, I was breathing.
Oh, okay. Like it wasn't
Sorry for
like
breathing.
so, yeah. Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah,
I know someone was making a comparison to like Spider-Man because they're both multiverse movies and saying that the Spider-Man arc is stronger than the Doctor Strange arc of this movie. And I guess it is,
I
but
don't
like
agree because I don't remember the Spider-Man arc. I don't remember like what the main
there's a
lesson
lot of
was.
there's a lot of
Unfortunately,
shit that happens in that movie too.
yeah.
But like
I
I feel
like
like
I
this
really loved. I just fucking adore. I like the idea because for this whole time we met him, Strange has very much been like a Spock in terms of how to handle like the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. That was the whole thing in Infinity
Mhm.
War. Like the only
He
way to
utters that
win is
same
if we
line.
kill
Defender
half of
Strange
the
uttered that
universe and then bring it
same line,
back.
right? He says like something like, "In the grand scheme of the cosmos, your
Yeah,
sacrifice means,"
and I'm like,
which is his No Way
oh
Home
shit,
line.
they present that as a character flaw. That's
Yeah,
rad. That's sick. It's Strange realizing like the only way may not be the only way. Kindness and understanding of another person is more important than like murdering a person to save millions.
yeah,
And I
yep.
really like that kind. I don't know what you call that. It's not objectivism, but it's something along those lines, like the
Utilitarianism.
practical utilitarianism. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, the like the obsession with practicality and like the that stuff. I like presenting that as a flaw. I thought that was
Yeah,
really really neat and really interesting. At the
yeah,
very least, like I like that's a clear message to me, and
yeah.
I thought fuck yeah, the movie had a
It's the only
a
reason
clear
why.
theme that it built upon, and
Yeah,
everything involving the character more or less was intentional. That's
yeah.
neat.
It's the only reason
That's
why that's
sick.
everyone's favorite episode of What If. Which, sorry to remind everyone of What If, but that is the only
Oh
good
yeah,
episode of What If. It's because
yeah,
it does that shit with Doctor Strange.
yeah.
Because he's a character that I feel like with all the other characters that Marvel has been doing, he's the only one where it's like you can kind of see that he has something to him, and like that's his
I think what it
defining little
is.
character trait.
I think what it is that like a lot of other MCU characters we're still kind of building to them being like their comic counterpart. Right.
Yeah,
We just kind of got Peter to be like he is in the comics. Where
yeah.
Tony kind of was, Captain America kind of was,
But they're also
but like a
dead,
lot
so
of
it
other
doesn't.
characters were like,
Yeah,
we're still kind of on the arc to become straight up comic accurate.
yeah, yeah,
And Thor is also a character that they did pretty well with that. But like,
yeah, yeah.
but with Doctor Strange, after the first movie, that is Doctor Strange. He went through his origin and he is straight up Doctor Strange from the
And
comics.
Infinity War and Endgame helped that. Yeah, they
Yeah, and
enhanced
it's
that
like,
for
oh
you.
shit, this is how the characters, and it's like definitive, and like the traits are there, and it's really strong, and so then they build upon those traits and those flaws in a really interesting way here that I really liked. I liked how they emphasized that with in the wedding scene with the guy from the first movie, the other doctor, and
Yeah,
him being like,
I didn't know
did you
who that
have
was
to
for a
do
second.
this?
He kind of looked
You
like
didn't
Joaquin
rewatch the first
Phoenix,
movie,
and I
such
was
an L.
like,
What an L.
he's an actor in something else, right? I
I don't know.
recognize his face.
Most actors are in other things, so
This is
possibly.
very true because actors aren't just the characters that
Actors
they
are
happen.
only in the MCU.
I saw a
Actors
comment
only
that said
matter if they're part
Tom
of
Hiddleston is
Marvel.
in some medieval show, and like all the comments were like, "Oh my god, it's like he's Loki but in the multiverse," and I'm like, "Shut the fuck up,
I
please."
love that. Gotta love that. Gotta love not separating the character from the actor.
Yep, yeah,
But no, like I liked the thing of like, yeah, sure, what Strange did was like the right thing, but like it was fucked up. He
yeah,
let half of the universe die essentially because that was
yeah,
his call, and I think
and
that's
he
a cool
still
thing to have
makes
that bear
like
on his soul.
it's a kind of character transition where he does make a couple changes as the movie goes along, but he is still Doctor Strange. Like he still does some kind of fucked up shit. Like he does
But
still
he's
mess with
like
the Darkhold,
he
but
yeah,
like
but he does that on himself. It's not like he sacrificed somebody else to do
yeah,
something.
yep,
He
exactly.
sacrificed himself, and I think that's the mark of like a genuine hero.
I think that's what's also going to
As
improve his character going forward in the MCU
and in
is
general, he was like nice in this movie. He was really like
yeah,
he's always portrayed as like this snarky little piece
because
of
he's an
shit because that is
asshole in
kind of
No
what he
Way
is.
Home.
He's an
Yeah,
asshole in everything. He's an asshole
yeah,
in Infinity War and you know and in the comics and stuff he is too. But
yeah,
it's like he was talking with America and he was just like, you didn't kill your moms. Your
mhm,
moms are out there somewhere. Don't feel like you killed them. And he was like, it was a very mature and like like not optimistic, but he was like nurturing in a way that was like
yeah,
really appreciated for this character
yeah.
when they could have very
But it
easily just
still
made
felt
him,
like his
you
character.
know,
It didn't feel out of pocket. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I felt like, oh fuck, he's grown. You know, and it was really cool. I really like
yeah,
that.
yeah. And I was like, for a while, I was like, and you can tell this because you watched the first movie, is Night Nurse, what the fuck, Rachel McAdams, what the fuck is her name?
Uh, Christine.
Christine. I was about to say Charlize
I almost
Theron.
called
I'm
her
like,
Beatrice.
no.
I don't know where the fuck that came from.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
Is
yeah,
is
Regina George.
is Christine like as big of a thing in the first movie?
Not really. She is kind of like like standard love interest in an
Because
action
I know they
movie.
have that moment, but then there's like the funny moment with the cape
But
right
she
after
is
that,
like
right?
important to him and stuff. And I think I mean
Uh-huh.
the What If episode also leaned into that too
The
of like,
yeah,
you know,
yep,
it's what if she dies and then he goes she's the thing that like grounds him and stuff.
yeah,
I liked what they did with that relationship. Like sure maybe it wasn't built upon in the first movie, but the first movie was like 5 years ago.
yeah.
So it's like it's hard to do, you know, it's we've had some, and that's kind of how I feel about Mordo too, where it
Mhm.
was like first movie ends the credit scene he Mordo's like I'm evil bad guy Sinestro, because first movie's just Green Lantern. Did you know this? First movie's just Green Lantern, same
Actually,
movie,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
exactly the same movie. It's just the finale's better in
Instead of going
in
to
Doctor
space,
Strange.
they're just in a house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Shit. Yeah, you're
But
right.
the first movie ends credit scene, Mordo goes evil basically, and then we don't see him until
Yeah.
this. And the Doctor Strange
And
like
it's
he's
not the
dedicated his
same
life to killing me, and I'm like, where did that come from? Like,
because
how did we know this?
I guess he knows because he's a sorcerer supreme, or he was a
Yeah,
sorcerer
and
supreme. But
it's kind of
still, it's
cool to
not.
imply that like they've had interactions outside of the movies. That's always my
Yeah,
thing. I hate the idea that the only things we see are in movies.
yeah.
So there's
He
got to
went to
be
go
some
get
stories and
coffee, and
some
he
of
ran
interest
into him. He was
between,
like, "Fuck you," and then he like
or
walked
there's
away.
been a
Yeah.
fight, or there's been an attack or something. Like there's got to be potential for some
They
in
live
between
lives that
comics or
take
something.
place over normal 24-hour
Exactly.
periods of time.
Which is why and this movie kind of leans into it. I genuinely dislike how the first movie took place in 2016 because
Yeah.
it's like the time difference between that and Infinity War means he'd only been Doctor Strange for like a year. Versus if it
Mhm.
took place in like 2012, there would be a lot more time to like have him learn these things and have those potential stories and stuff.
Yeah.
Versus, and I
But this
think
is
they
kind
just
of
kind of
rushes
want
him
to
into it.
pretend that he's been Doctor Strange for a super long time now,
Yeah.
when in
Yeah.
reality it's only been like 3 years, which I
Maybe
think
it's longer for
that's
him
kind of
because
fun.
he's doing all the magic shit. I don't know.
Yeah, and you could argue the end game time jump allowed that, but he was snapped away, so like we
Yeah. Yeah.
don't know, you know,
Yeah.
that didn't happen.
Wong
But
should be
I
like
still, it's not a problem, but
infinitesimally
I think
better
it is
than
kind of
him.
funny that they just pretend.
Yeah. Which I guess Wong is infinitesimally better than him. Which Wong also in this
Wong,
movie.
great, love
Yeah.
Wong.
Is
I
fucking
didn't get the Wong hype before, and I'm
but
like,
you
yeah, I
get it
get it
now.
now.
Yeah.
He's rad. He's sick. I love him.
There's not as much of like he's cool in Doctor Strange 1, but he doesn't get as much
Hmm.
shit to do. Here he gets
Yeah,
stuff to do. He's really like an actual
and he
character.
has my favorite line of the movie.
Which line?
Do you know which line I'm talking about? Where he's like, fortify your
Oh
minds.
yeah, that's
I
right.
lost my shit.
Fortify
That was
your
the funniest
minds.
thing. It was
Yeah.
so funny. Like
Yes.
I was cackling in the theater for like things that nobody else was laughing at, and then all the like Marvel jokes I was like dead silent, and then people were like laughing at. I was
Okay.
like, oh man, I wish there was more
I
shit like that.
forgot that
Because
happened.
I somebody commented that on my video, just that sentence, and I
Yeah.
like started crying laughing. It's so funny. All the
Because
Sam
they're like,
Raimiisms are great in this movie.
yeah, because it's just kind of out of, it's not out of nowhere. He says that they're attacking the
It's
mind,
out of
but
nowhere. It's straight up
yeah.
out of nowhere. I love it. It's so funny. Um,
It's like you're like in like a kung fu studio and you're training. And they're like fortify your mind. And it's like, how the fuck am I supposed to do that? I'm trying
like,
to
what does
punch
that
a
mean,
wall.
dude?
Yeah.
Um, but
Yeah.
yeah. So the wedding happens. We get a little talk with Christine. We bring up the emotional point of the movie and the character growth, and then a
Yep.
big eye monster shows up
Yeah.
and he gets his eye poked out.
That's
What do you think of that fight?
I thought that was it was like the Suicide Squad, but they did it in 10 minutes because he gets his eye poked out by a big
Okay,
rod, and then he
hang
gets.
on. But okay, but they never pulled Starro's eye out, so
Oh
don't even
yeah, that's right.
compare.
So I
We
guess this
went
movie is
inside of that
gorier.
eye.
Yeah, that's right. So I
I
guess this
saw
movie is
people be like,
gorier.
"Be careful! There's so much blood and gore in this movie. It's worse
Uh,
than Evil Dead." And I'm like, "You did not watch Evil Dead, then."
it's monster
Evil
guts.
Dead, I love Evil Dead. I can't watch the first one.
Mhm.
It's impossible to
Even
watch.
even in the
It's
spaghetti scene, there's no
brutal.
blood in that. He just turns into blue and
Which
black mush.
we'll talk. What is he made of then? If he doesn't
I
bleed
think
when he
he's
gets
just
cut up, what is he made of?
I
Is he
think he's
made of
just made up
spaghetti?
of blue. I think he's made up of blue.
He's made up of Play-Doh and slime. That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yep. He's made up of Jello,
But
like his character in The Office. He put the stapler in the Jello, right? Is that was just
yeah,
him? That
exactly.
was
Yeah, there
just
we
Jim
go.
Halpert.
There we
Yeah,
go.
yeah, exactly.
No, that fight was cool though. I like it's well directed.
Yeah. Him
The
jumping
we
off
didn't.
the fucking balcony is the coolest shit.
That was like a Spider-Man 2 shot.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
I watched. I was like the way the camera's tracking him and like the blur. I don't know what I can't describe it exactly, but like
When he's just
it felt
falling
like
and
a
then he's like,
swinging
"Whoop."
shot for some reason.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
it was sick. Oh god, they make him cool in this, which is really nice. You know,
Yeah. Yep.
they make him cool without like him doing cool things. Like I don't know how to
Do you
describe it.
think this movie would have benefited from because you've been talking about it a lot the projector ILM
Oh,
like
the
LED
stagecraft
tech?
stuff.
Yeah. Do you think this movie would have benefited
There
from
were a
that?
couple scenes where I was like, oh, this is green screen, and
Yeah.
like I get why it was, but I'm like, it doesn't look as good as it would on stagecraft. Maybe like a couple things where like especially like in the big like space between universes where it's like all crazy
Yeah.
lights
The
behind them.
the purple orange space. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been nice to have. Maybe they did. It's hard. I haven't seen any set
I
photos of
don't
it.
think they did because they
I
would
would
have
assume.
talked
I
about it a
think if
lot
they
more.
use stagecraft, they're gonna market it because stagecraft is the
Yeah.
coolest fucking thing, dude. I love stagecraft so
Yeah.
much.
Exactly.
Um, but like, yeah, there are a couple scenes where I'm like, yeah, that would have been nice. But for the most part, like the things that need to be practical are practical, which that's
Yeah.
really nice.
Yep.
That diner
Like
scene, I don't know.
suitcase guy. The
Did you
diner
have an
scene's
opinion?
cool. I
I had it
everyone
like
has been
I
talking about
watched
the
it. I was like,
diner
oh
scene.
hell yeah, the bare
The
minimum, they're doing it.
I everyone
It's
is talking about
nice.
how the lighting is really good in the diner scene, and it
Yeah, I
is.
liked it.
That wasn't my takeaway from the movie, but yeah, it's
Interesting. I
good,
don't know.
you
I
know?
just remember being like, "Oh shit, this is directed." You know,
Yeah,
this is like
yeah,
not, and
that's right.
not that the other movies aren't, but I'm like, "Oh wow, they actually like
You know what it was for
there's
me?
thought behind things." And maybe it was just my
It's
the class
this
I
is
took, but
this is later on, but it's a shot where he drops all the water on Wanda, and it's like the tension,
mhm.
and then you see the lighting on his face, and it's like
Yeah,
you could
sick.
just draw a line in between his face, and it'd be two different fucking faces because of how
Oh
they're
god,
lighting it
it's
with the
so
angles. It's
like for
cool.
all
That's
of
cool
the
shit.
script issues in this movie, just direction wise and visually.
It makes up for a
I
lot
mean,
of it.
after the first like 30 minutes,
Yeah.
after that first 30 minutes, it's fucking god tier. It's god tier. I love it.
Yep. Do
Yeah,
you
and
like?
the diner's doing the bare minimum in a way of like that we don't see too much, and
Yeah.
it's
Yep.
nice. It's
Yeah.
refreshing.
I
You
do.
know,
I do like the. We'll talk about it later. I do like the callback to Defender Strange, burying him in there and then bringing him out of the grave. That's some cool
that's
shit that
so
I
much.
I
That
didn't
would
pick
be
up. I
the.
didn't pick up at all until it happened. I'm like, oh,
I was just like, this is a weird place to bury him, and then they
yeah,
do it. And I'm like, oh hell
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
oh
yeah,
I got so fucking excited.
yeah. Which I
Um,
guess I mean after this scene, do we want to talk about the red witch in the room, the
we can
fucking
talk about the red elephant in the room.
the
Okay.
red elephant in the room?
Um,
Yeah. Um,
uh,
First
actually,
off,
I
I
do.
was.
No, yeah,
Oh,
we'll talk
go.
about it. We'll talk about it.
No, go
No, we'll
ahead.
talk
Go
about
ahead.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna talk a little about America, but then I realized like there's not a ton to say that we haven't
Yeah,
said. Just I
she
really liked
has a
her.
whole scene later too.
She's cool. I wish like I mean I don't know how they would have done it, but they could have emphasized that she herself was gay. That would have been nice.
Yeah,
The pin is okay. The pin's fine, but I would have been nice to get a little
I
bit
didn't even know
more
she had a
like.
pin. I didn't know that.
Well, you don't even pay attention to the LGBTQIA plus
Sorry, I
community.
didn't know she has two moms. And I was
Problematic
like,
Mithi back
okay.
at it again.
I
Everybody
didn't.
down in the comments,
I
cancel Mithi.
didn't. I said
Leave
I
a comment
didn't
about
see
why
it.
Mithi's
I
problematic.
knew someone told me before that she was, and I was like, "All right, cool, great." That's all I thought. Please don't cancel me. I have
Big man.
finals
No,
to do
but
this
like
week.
I like they could have done a little bit. I just think they could have. I
They
don't know
could, yeah.
how they could have done something. It's just it's like this is this is the bare minimum that Disney doesn't really want to do, and I
Yeah.
wish that they
It is
kind of,
kind of thing where they're
but
like, I have two moms. Oh no, they're gone. Where
oh no,
did
they're
they go?
gone.
I was like,
Yeah, but
okay,
at
all
least
right,
they weren't
Disney.
like these two women were really they practically raised me.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they could have done that better than some other things have done.
Yeah, yeah. I had a
But
date
yeah, you
with a
want to talk about
guy,
Wanda?
Mr.
You want
Chris
to talk
Evans. I
about the
had a date with a
kids?
guy. No, yeah. But yeah, Wanda so first off, I feel bad. I kind of knew that reveal was going to happen in the apple orchard because
Hmm.
in the trailer he's wearing the same clothes. Like he's wearing the fucking jacket with
I
the scarf.
see. I
And I
didn't even
noticed
notice
that in
that.
the
Yeah,
trailer. I wish I didn't notice in the trailer because if you didn't know that, I feel like that would have been a really
that was
cool
a cool
fucking
reveal. I
reveal.
do feel like, I mean, like I feel they didn't really properly set up Wanda as like the villain of this.
This
And I get it's supposed to
yeah.
be a reveal, but I'm like, if the movie had started with something about the Darkhold first, just to set up somebody is
The
behind this demon that is
yeah.
chasing America,
Yep.
that would at least set up, okay, somebody is a villain, right?
Yeah.
But right now
The
it's like we just think it's a demon.
yeah.
And now we're like Wanda, and if either if they'd done that or if they'd really emphasized like the I never told you her name,
Yeah.
as opposed to like in a way it kind of felt like a quip in a way.
It was a
It
good moment, but it was kind of too quick. Yeah.
it was one of those moments where I'm like, okay, they could have done something a little bit more extreme with the camera here or
Yeah.
with the music to really show like he didn't tell her name
Yeah.
because we don't know that he never told her
Because
name.
the only real build up for it is the final scene of WandaVision where she's like being all creepy, you know?
Yeah,
Like
which
that's the
even then
only
I don't think that
yeah.
you
You
shouldn't
don't
have to
need to you
watch
should
WandaVision to
you
watch Doctor
don't.
Strange 2. I'm not a huge fan of that
Sam Raimi
mentality.
didn't do it. You know, if
It
he
was just
didn't do it,
hilarious
you
to
don't
me. I
have to
love
do
that.
it. He
Yeah.
said he's like, I only watched the key scenes, and I'm like, yeah, okay.
You
So
know
you watched
what? Good for
episode
him. What
8,
a
and that was
king.
basically it.
Yeah.
Um, but it's really
Because
weird
so
to
the
me.
Darkhold was in WandaVision, right? Though it was
Like that was
the
what
book.
made her.
The
Oh,
Darkhold wasn't. Was it in the show? Because I can't
yeah, it
remember.
was. It's the final
Okay.
book that she's like the dark hold, something, something, the Scarlet
Gotcha.
Witch, and then she's like
Gotcha.
browsing
Gotcha.
through it like it's a fucking
Okay.
Reddit forum at the end of episode 9.
I think if either, ironically, if they had actually done a little bit more with the multiverse in that show, to
Then yeah, it
that
would
would
have
have could have
yeah.
helped. I
But
just
there's
feel like
such a mess.
there's a jump of like we didn't see a key moment of her either learning about the multiverse. And
Yeah,
I love what they do though with the dream. I think
yeah,
that the idea of like your kids aren't real. How do you know they exist in the multiverse? Because I dream about them.
yeah,
That's fucking great. That's
yeah,
heartbreaking.
yeah.
And it's
And
the
the
idea that
thing with
this is this. And I'm not even a Wanda stan, but this is the only universe she doesn't have kids. That's fucked up.
that's sad. Yeah, that's sad as fuck.
That's heartbreaking. And I think
Yeah,
that's a very strong motivation. But it's like we go from that to I'm gonna kill this child.
yeah.
Like, oh,
People
whoa,
have been drawing a lot of parallels between her and Doc Ock. Of like Doc Ock at
interesting.
the arms, she has a dark hold. She has lost
But the thing with
husband and
Doc
kids,
Ock
but
is that I know they say it explicitly that it's controlling him, but it's like
yeah,
the thing with Doc Ock that was interesting about him was that the arms were just telling him something, telling him to do
what to
stuff he already
do, and
wanted to
he was
do. And
doing it.
I
Yeah,
thought that was the thing with the Darkhold too. It was just telling
yeah.
her. I don't even think it should have been controlling her. She
I don't
said it
think
just
it.
showed her the truth, which I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Which is
Yeah.
and this is where also
It feels a little black suit in a way of like it's a way to just kind of have some people like brush off some of her
yeah,
actions in this if
which
they
is
ever want
why.
to treat her like a hero
But
again.
this is also where I kind of see parts of the two scripts for this movie kind of having the whole stitched together.
Yeah.
I've almost this is my theory, and I don't know how solid this is. I think
Hmm.
Sinister Strange, that like music fight at the end, that was supposed to be Nightmare. What when Scott Derrickson was
Interesting.
on board, I think all the shit about dreams was supposed to be Nightmare. That's
Yeah,
my
that makes
theory. That
sense.
Nightmare was bleeding in through the multiverse and causing everyone dreams to be like certain dreams or some shit. And that's what was influencing Wanda. And so Wanda was going to start off as like this Winter Soldier character who was doing about a lot of bad shit, but it was because of Nightmare. And then that's how they ended things. But then
That
I
could be
think once
interesting.
Scott Derrickson left and they were like, no, we want Wanda to be the main thing. And then maybe Scott Derrickson was like, no, or for some other reason he dropped out. And then that's when Raimi came on board. It's like, okay, no, I can do something with this. And that's,
Yeah,
I
that
think a
makes
lot
sense.
of the changes that was made to Scarlet Witch throughout the rest of this movie was because of Raimi. I want to give him the credit for that. But again, I don't know. In the whole movie, you can kind of tell how like segmented apart, especially in the first half or like the first 2/3, you can tell how like separate the Scarlet Witch scenes and the Doctor Strange scenes are. You know, like
Yeah.
Doctor Strange is off doing his own thing with the Illuminati sometimes, with America Chavez, and she is like chasing them, but she's also doing her own thing with her kids, and then eventually with the Illuminati. You know, so you can tell they're two very separate things, and that means probably in the script, the Scarlet Witch stuff was very different, and then in the second round when they did reshoots, they changed a lot of that shit. That's
Yeah,
my
I think I
assumption.
think I think the thing that like kind of sells it to me, like I don't know the deal with Nightmare. I don't know any of the behind the scenes stuff with the script and stuff. Like all I know is that a director left and Sam came
Yeah,
back in.
yeah,
I know they rewrote the script and Sam might have probably was involved with that, but like it's a different situation than starting the script from scratch, you know.
yeah, yep,
And I think it doesn't surprise that wouldn't surprise me because the whole thing with like her Darkhold getting destroyed and then having to go find the temple
yeah,
feels like a protagonist plotline. That's like that's a
yeah,
MacGuffin.
yep,
That's a journey for our character to do.
yeah,
Granted, it only takes a scene, but it's like that's a scene where the tension is gone now.
yeah,
She no longer can dreamwalk, and she no longer is a threat to everybody when they're in that universe.
yeah,
It's just it's now it's like okay now we just can't she can't get that, and I know
yeah,
Wong's held hostage and stuff, but I'm like it doesn't feel as like
yeah.
tenuous, you know.
And that's where I think maybe some of those people, the issues people have with Wanda's movie kind of shine is because it's like she's still moving the plot like she is a protagonist. She's
Yeah.
not as much of an antagonistic force. And like in something like Spider-Man 2, Ock, as much as he is kind of in the end a good guy, he is still the
He's the
antagonistic driving
antagonist, yeah.
force of the film. Yeah. He is going one direction, Spider-Man's going the other direction. That's where they clash at the middle, here and there, right?
Yeah.
In this movie, it's like they're going this direction, and then the Scarlet Witch comes back to get America Chavez, and then that's when the climax happens. And when
Yeah.
this happens at the end of the movie, that's when shit gets really interesting. That's where I think the best parts of the movie are in that last third act. But
Yeah.
then the stuff in the middle, especially with the Illuminati, is where shit just gets kind of boring. You know,
Yeah. I
that's
think
my
I think
view on it.
the scene with at Carmitage is what it's called, right? The
Kamartaj,
Doctor
yeah,
Strange place. Yeah. Is rad. I
yeah.
loved that. That's a fucking sick basically whenever this movie is a horror movie, it's so
Yeah.
cool.
When
You
she's
know?
walking out of whatever that gong or whatever the fuck that is, I'm like,
Hmm.
ooh,
She's like all
hey.
fucking like distorted in which or
Yeah.
even just like the
See, because
reflections
here's the
and like her
thing. I
eye.
saw an
Hmm.
image of that scene leaked before I watched the film, and I
Hmm.
thought, oh, so that's going to be like a different Scarlet Witch, and there's going to be like multiple Scarlet Witches.
Interesting.
Nope,
Yeah.
that's the same
Nope, just
Scarlet
all her.
Witch.
Which
It's
I
all
like
her.
that. I
Yeah.
like that we've only got one villain, you know, and
Yeah.
in a multiverse thing you'd think they could do something grander, but like it's very clear and
They do.
personal,
They
which I
decide
really
to keep
dig.
the focus on that, which is at least on that aspect of it, it's kind of nice that
Yeah.
we're not jumping around to different Scarlet Witches. It's just her and
Yeah.
then the mom.
Yeah, she though,
That's why it's called
I've
Multiverse of Madness.
I
Is because of MOM.
I
She's a
do
mom.
genuinely believe Everything Everywhere All at Once should have been called Multiverse of Madness for the mom acronym. That works it works
Really?
better for that movie because
That
that
is
movie's all
okay.
about being a mother and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um but I'm sorry. Tyler, I love you. If you're a Wanda stan after this
You're
movie,
not
what the
allowed to be. You're
fuck?
not allowed to be.
What
I
the
was going to say that.
fuck?
You're not
She
allowed to
is
be a Wanda
fucked
stan
up.
anymore. Yeah.
She's like, yeah, I'm gonna kill
She's
this kid.
a bitch. I'm saying it
She
right
is
in front of you,
oh,
motherfucker.
okay. We're
You're
just gonna
a
throw that word around. Okay.
okay. I'm saying in this
She's like,
movie,
I'm not a monster, and then kills like
yeah,
100 people.
I mean, she is badass, but my goodness, no, you are a monster. You're not.
She's a great she's a scary she kills so many
She
people.
when she starts killing the people in Kamartaj, I'm like, this
I
is
was like,
she
oh
does
boy.
this? Okay.
She obliterates those people. She burned that guy alive
Yeah.
and like left him this horrifying husk.
She like she
And then
brings all the guys
she
up
has
and
the audacity, the
and
fucking audacity to walk up to Strange and be like, "This is your fault.
yeah. Yeah. I'm
You
a
cost
mother.
all these lives.
I'm a mother. I
I'm a
mean my
mother."
kid. I'm a mother. Your kids aren't real.
I love
No.
they thought they had something with the line of like when Strange is like, you made them with magic, and she's like, doesn't every
Does
mother
it
do
all,
that?
yeah.
I was like, you thought you had something with that.
Yeah.
That's she thought she ate and she did.
She didn't. She thought she ate those apples, but nope. They're
Nope,
still they haven't bloomed
they're
yet.
not apples. Wait, that was a fucking flower orchard. What are you talking about?
No, she said that was an. They said he said that was an
They were
apple.
flowers.
No, really?
I'm like
I thought
90% sure they
I
were
thought Doctor
flowers. I'll
Strange
pull up
shows
the
up and it's
trailer.
like, ooh, an apple orchard, and then she's like, "Yeah, they're
Ooh, an
not bloomed
apple
yet."
orchard. That's
No,
those are
but like,
like
are those not
yeah,
apple trees?
those are like cherry blossoms. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know plants. I'm not a
okay.
botanist.
If
They're not
someone
apple
knows,
trees
tells
though, that's
me.
for
I
sure.
thought they
Yeah, comment
mentioned
down
them
below
being
what kind of
apples.
tree that was.
Yeah, even though none of them were real. Still,
Even though that was an interesting, that was
was there
cool.
something
I
like
also
when
I kind of
I?
like the small thing of like her being like, yeah, they're real. I'm done with magic, and
Yeah,
he's like, he believes that, and
yeah,
then she's like, no, they're not
no,
real. That
yeah.
kind of shows like how strong
She's
she is. That's
still,
pretty nifty.
yeah. I There was also the thing because I was paying attention to that scene because I saw that scene again on YouTube, and she
Hmm.
like drops the like cutters in like a bucket, and the shot kind of stays on the bucket for a while. I don't know if there was
I
something
noticed that
there
too.
of there like is there like something with the
There could
bucket?
be this might be a stretch. I don't
Yeah.
know. There might be something about like cutting weeds off. Like that's her thing. It breaks
Oh,
her heart
okay.
to cut the tree, but she has to do it or something like that.
Maybe
I don't know,
because there was
but
also
that's
text on the box, so I didn't know if that had something to do with something. But
the text
that
was
shot
upside
stays
down,
real
so I don't
calm.
think we were supposed to read it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
No, we're supposed
but
because the camera keeps going in circles, right? So we're also supposed to keep going in circles and
yeah, we're supposed to turn. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. But yeah, what else happens? They fucking chasing
She
creepy
gets
shit.
he gets she the Wanda shows up. He's all creepy, and then America blasts blasts Strange and herself
Yeah, through
through
the which
to
the effect
838.
of the star shit that was
I
cool.
love that.
I
I
when
think
I
that's so silly and it's like
yeah,
they very easily could have made it like I don't know how you
I thought it was
like
gonna be
I don't know. It's
stupid.
so
I straight up thought it was gonna be the stupidest shit ever,
it
but
could
no,
have
it
been
was
stupid, but
cool.
they made it look cool. That's really rad. That's impressive.
Especially when you see the portals and the stars continue, like when she's like
It
telling her to
looks
circle
great.
through it and
It looks
shit.
really
That's
good.
yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we get to the so we go through
The
the
Utopia
multiverse.
world. The
Oh no, we go through. We get
yeah.
that's
Oh
our
yeah, that's right.
multiverse hopping.
That's our multiverse
Um,
of madness.
it
Yeah,
was I was not excited. I don't know. That didn't do it. It
it
was
was fine.
interesting. They're interesting ideas.
What are the?
I
Someone
think
said
I
one
think
is Spider-Man Noir. Someone said another one was maybe Raimi Spider-Man, but I don't. It
but
doesn't. I don't know. They're
what the fuck? No,
worlds.
I don't know. Maybe they with
Yeah.
such cars. I just think they should
Yeah.
have brought the paint one back. The paint one should have been a thing. They put emphasis on that. They were like, you don't want to get stuck in there. They should have put Wanda in there or something
Oh yeah, like they get
like that would have been an interesting like callback,
Wanda's just
and
like a
using
splash of red paint, and she's really mad.
yeah,
She's
or
just
I
like
don't maybe not put
really
her in there
red.
because that's a fucked up punishment, but it's like
Yeah.
there could have been something involved. Like maybe towards the end, America's like punching her through a bunch of them, or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
could have
that
been
would have
fun.
been cool, kind of cool. But
Yeah,
she does punch.
I don't know.
That's a cool scene. But yeah,
She punches through
it
her
got
a couple,
spoiled
but
on
I'm
this
like
picture that got released because see, she's
that
in a
she can
punching
punch.
position that she can
Wow,
punch.
what a
Yeah,
spoiler, man!
SMH.
I don't want to know anything about a movie ever when I go into it. I don't even want to know the title. I
Yeah,
can't. It's just everything could be a spoiler. Doctor Strange is in
yeah,
the movie. What the fuck? Why'd you spoil it for me?
yeah. Everything, everywhere, all at once. That's like I know everything that's gonna happen now because it says everything in the title. Everything's gonna
Everything
happen.
happens in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is why it's the best movie ever made.
Yeah.
But no, now we're on 838. He throws up.
Is that an actual
Um,
comic world? Is that
not to
important?
my knowledge, but
They
I
just
don't know
said
a
it
ton of the Marvel multiverse
because
stuff,
I
so
know a
it's hard to
lot of
say.
the worlds that Marvel picks up are like palindromes. 616, 838. They like doing that
Yeah,
because it's fun to say.
that's true.
I didn't know.
One thing that this is such a stupid thing.
Yeah.
The fact that they called the MCU universe 616, right?
Yeah.
Hang on. What's the actual number? So the MCU already has a universe number.
It's like
It's
1610 or some shit, right?
it's one 9999999. It's a bunch of
Yeah, okay.
it's a lot of
I'm
nines.
telling
Um,
they won't
and
let
I
the
get that
MCB
that's
call
not that
that.
doesn't roll off the tongue as well as
Yeah.
616, but I think it would have been kind of fun if
If they're like,
if they
you're
were like you're that's like staying consistent with that, because
yeah.
it's like, okay, the comic Earth is still there, that would be a fun thing. But I understand for normies, or not normies, but like people that don't read the comics,
Yeah.
616 like being the main universe, that's the whole point. That's like a big deal. So I understand why they do it, but I'm kind of like, oh, it would be fun to respect that a little bit.
Yeah. And
I don't know.
I don't expect them to because
I
I
guess
think there's
Spider Verse
something
did the
else.
same thing, but Spider Verse is Peter B. Parker being so far in the
Yeah.
future,
That
like
yeah.
kind of allows
You're
for
okay
that.
with that? Yeah.
Yeah, but
I
maybe I'm just a hypocrite.
was there
Who
another
knows?
MCU movie where they called it 616?
Far From Home did, but he was lying. But
Oh
he
yeah,
ended up
that's
being
what I'm
right.
thinking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Which
probably
is
something else.
funny
But
that he was just randomly right about that,
I know. Imagine getting like how many numbers could you guess?
It's literally a one in
No, I'm
at
sure. I
least a
mean, he was
thousand
part. He was
chance,
part
right?
of. He was part of Stark Tech for a while. He probably had some,
Oh,
some
Stark knew about the
connections to.
multiverse and he had like a thing that are
Stark
like
knew about everything because Stark is the greatest character to ever live.
it
Don't
could
you know
be.
that?
Did Tony Stark exist on the Illuminati at one point?
That's what
Because there's
interests.
Ultron bots and
I
shit.
kind of wish he was there for a really petty reason, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah, cause spaghetti. Yeah.
spaghetti.
Yeah.
Um,
But
but
yeah,
yeah, Earth 38, well, the city with
I
socialism.
will say
It's
red and
fun.
green
Bruce
shit,
Campbell.
that's dumb. I understand the point of it, but it's fucking dumb. Green emotionally the color of red it like gives you something. And so when you see a red signal, you're not meant to go. It transcends just
Okay, but
language.
what if these people their brains are hardwired different, so the chroma of green implies it's a different thing.
You're right, fuck you.
Take that,
Move
bitch.
on.
Take that, motherfucker.
God damn it.
You
That
can,
is
yeah,
true.
you got. What'd she say? Forget everything you ever know.
Yeah,
There
because
you
you
go,
don't
and then
know
find food. Then
anything.
find. I want
Pizza
pizza
balls.
balls. Those look
Those look
great.
disgusting. No,
Those
those
look
look
delicious. Go
disgusting.
fuck yourself. Those look
No,
like the
if they look
Calzussi
like
of the future.
no, you
Those
know
look
what the Calzussi
amazing.
of the future should look like? Pizza rolls. That's what good pizza treats look
Pizza
like.
rolls already exist though.
Yeah, but it's like inverted. How do you pick it up? Like with the
With
cheese?
the fucking chopsticks.
That's annoying. Nah. You should.
I
It's
can never
finger
win. Can
food. It's
never, or a
pizza.
fork.
You can eat.
Well,
It's
maybe
just
the cheese isn't like maybe the
they
cheese
look
is
like
like
all
cooked enough.
slimy and shit. You know, it
I don't
looked
know.
like
All I know is
a.
I'm right. You're
You
wrong.
know those balls they
Pizza
have
balls
in
sound
like
great. I wonder if they exist. Are pizza balls a
you
real
know in like
thing? I want
elementary
one.
schools they have like
I'm
the
gonna get
thing
pizza
that you'll
later
play
tonight.
baseball on, but it's like a whole ball. It's like a hollow ball with holes in it and shit. That's what the pizza balls look like.
The wiffle ball.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it's called. That's what they look
Interesting.
like. And I
Interesting
thought that
take
was
you got
weird.
there.
I didn't realize that was called a wiffle ball, but that brings back memories of
No,
elementary school.
pizza balls are a thing. I mean,
They are a thing.
they're not like that, but like you could drip cheese over a pizza ball and put
Well,
pepperoni on it, and
yeah,
there you
yeah, I
go.
guess. It's
So
just
fuck you.
from a distance looking at it, I was like,
First you shit on the calzone, and now you shit on this. Like I
I
think you
never
just hate
shat on the
Italians. You hate
calzone. I
Italians.
ate
That's really
it,
all it is.
and my stomach
Problematic
hurt.
Mithi back at it again.
This is a constant defense. I like that movie more than you sometimes, occasionally. It depends
What
on the
movie?
day.
Wait, what Batman? Wait, what are
No,
you talking about?
this movie.
This movie?
Yeah, I was because
I don't
I
know. I'm
was
enjoy. The more I'm talking about it, I'm starting to think that I like it more than you. But well, not a
I
competition, I
am
guess. You're
this
the
is
MCU
true.
show, so
I am the MCU show. I am the Wanda stan. I am a.
and I'm the MCU hater. I hate everything MCU.
I was
Apparently.
gonna say I stand Wanda. I'm a bad person, but
Oh,
that might have been too far.
oh boy,
That's too far.
Tyler, if you're watching this, I'm sorry.
Tyler, I'm not meaning any of this towards you. You are the exception. But
But
yeah,
Bruce Campbell cameo. I
yeah,
didn't
that
have that
was funny.
spoiled for me. That was
Yeah,
great. I really enjoyed that. And
yeah,
then it goes into the credits, which is really fun. I had a
yeah.
fun time with him. Love
I
Bruce. Love my
because
boy
I didn't
Bruce.
see I had the Bruce Campbell shows up at the end spoil for me,
Yeah,
and I
but
looked at
not
one of the
like
comments and it said Ash is back or something like that. And I'm like, is that actually canonically him?
what do they call?
What?
What does he call himself? I can't remember.
I don't know.
Does he say Papa?
I
I
just
know he said Papa something. I don't think he said Papa Williams. I would have remembered that. And Olivia
I
would
just watch
have
your
brought it up when
commentaries
we
and I
watched
don't
it the second
remember.
time. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
But I that was a fun cameo. I love
Yeah.
my boy Bruce. He's
Yeah,
fun.
because you see the
He was all
quote that
like,
he
"Hey,
did
you
on
gotta
Twitter?
pay me. Hey, you a thief?" He
Yeah.
was almost I was almost penguin energy. It
Yeah,
was really
yeah,
fun.
yeah. I could see him. I could see him playing the Penguin, kind of.
Bruce Campbell can play every comic book character,
Yeah.
and you can't change my mind.
He was
He could
probably
play.
at some point if Sam Raimi were to direct a Doctor Strange movie like back in the day, it would have been Bruce
Oh,
Campbell.
absolutely.
Yeah,
He honestly, he was probably if Sam Raimi did Spider-Man in like early '90s,
would
Bruce
probably been
absolutely
Bruce.
would have played
Yeah,
Peter.
yeah,
It would
yeah.
have been, that would have been really fun.
That yeah, that
Probably not,
would.
but that could have
I
been
could
fun.
see him as like
Yeah.
nowadays. I could see him in like something like an Uncle Ben kind of role, but I mean, he can do his own. Is he in movies
Yeah.
these days? Like I don't know what he.
I mean, he was
talks.
in Ash vs. Evil Dead. He's in stuff. I think he's more of a TV actor now, but
Oh, okay.
I mean, he's in this, so
Yeah.
that's a movie.
I mean,
That's a
did you
big
see the
Marvel movie.
tweet
He got
that
Marvel
was
check.
like Sam Raimi was like, "Yeah, I just every time I get a movie, I call him up and I'm like, hey, baby."
I love how they lied to us. They were like, yeah, we couldn't get Bruce Campbell for this one.
No, yeah, of course they could because it's fucking Sam.
It's
You
more.
know?
I don't know, but I mean, maybe he couldn't because of the
Maybe.
production schedule or something.
That is true. Pandemic. I forgot
yeah.
about that. What's
But
a pandemic? But yeah, Bruce Campbell can be a fun the little memory thing. So those memories are there.
Are they public? You can just see them?
Yeah, that's weird.
Wait, the passerbys on the street can see
Can
your
just
most
see your
traumatic memory if you misstep on the
yeah.
sidewalk.
Imagine you like killed a person and then you just sit there that it just shows like this memory of you murdering
Or
someone.
imagine you just have a really embarrassing memory
Oh, yeah.
and you just have to relive that, and then everybody else in your
But
modern
like,
life can point
is
and laugh
that
at you.
their actual memories or is that their alternate? Like, is that our Benedict Cumberbatch, our
It
Benny
scans
Cumberbatch's
your,
memories?
well, yeah, I mean, because America only has one version of herself in the multiverse.
Oh, okay,
It
yeah.
looks like, because it like scanned them, so it looks like it's just going into their brain, pulling your
Brain
memory
and
out and
finding it.
projecting it,
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
and then also recreating it in Unreal Engine 5, putting a new 3D camera
Yeah.
involved so we can watch it in
Yeah.
third person.
Yep. That's what it
I
was. It
love
was
that. I
actually
love how
creating the.
Olivia and I watched two things in a row where memories were portrayed in third person, and it bothered her so much, and I think that's really funny.
Yeah. Watch the
I don't remember
next
what the
thing you're
other
gonna
thing
watch
was.
is
I
also
don't
gonna be
remember what
that.
the other thing was, but
I
yeah.
was trying to think. Was it Moon Knight? But no, that doesn't.
No, it was Moon Knight, actually. Yeah, it was.
Was?
It was that they were looking in and they were
Oh
seeing
yeah,
everything
that's
third
right.
person.
Yeah.
Marvel loves their third person
Yeah.
memories.
But yeah, so that is his
Yeah.
memories. That is his memories. Yeah.
That's his Christine that gave him
Yeah.
the watch, which that
Yeah.
was a
Okay.
nice
Because I was gonna say
wouldn't have
because of the
remembered that
hair
if,
and the no mustache, I was like maybe it's not. But
yeah,
no,
that's fair.
people can
I mean, she wasn't
shave
a
their
redhead in that,
hair.
was she? She was blonde, I think, right?
She
I
was
don't remember.
like brunette almost.
I don't remember.
I don't.
Yeah, I pay
I'm
attention
not paying attention to
to women's
Rachel McAdams'
personalities, not
hair.
their appearance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But
that
then,
was
yeah,
a
so
good scene.
he goes to the Doctor Strange thing. Doctor Strange is
Yeah, he
dead,
goes to
and then
Dreadlock Mordo.
Mordo's like, grrr,
My
and
brother.
then my bro, it's like, hey, buddy.
That was I did
It would
like
have
the
been
line
nice
of
to have
like
seen a little
going.
more Mordo. It would have
I
been nice
did
to have
like the
seen
line "Go
Mordo,
on
like,
red." That was a
aside from
nice
this.
small line. I think
Wait,
that's
what?
one of my little favorite. When he says "Go on red," that's a nice little thing.
That's fun. Yeah,
Yeah,
I like that.
yeah,
Um, they talk a little bit. He spikes
yeah.
the
The
fucking
the
the double exposure thing with the dream, like when they talk about dreamwalking with
yeah,
like
and they
that
keep fading
montage.
back.
The
Yeah,
coolest thing in the world.
We haven't talked about it yet. The
Uh-huh.
score for this fucking movie
It's
is awesome.
I have an interesting take on this. So score is like the points are where it needs to be good. It's great, but then there are a couple times where I'm like, all right, this is kind of standard Marvel, but like
I don't remember everything, but I'm only remembering like the cool, like that shit was
the
fucking
guitar.
rad.
Every time I hear a guitar, I like fucking like, oh
I'm not
fuck
even
yeah.
that much of like a guitar person. I'm not that big of a rock fan or anything, but that was fucking sick.
It's just so inherent. It's like so Sam.
Yeah.
You know, it's so I fucking love it. I just it's so nice. It's so cool. Like, and then later when they do it, it's I get like that moment, and then the fortify your minds are the two things that just stick out to me in this movie. I'm like, fuck, I love this movie. Even if I don't like the movie, I love this movie. Even if I don't like the script. But that montage was sick. It was great. And then
like
turns out,
like,
surprise.
They have the montage, and then they have the tea, and then they go back to still the musical montage like that. That was kind of cool. It like weaved it in really nicely.
The circle wipe is the funniest thing I've ever seen. That is hysterical.
Yeah,
it was absolutely it's like there were moments where like cut to black. I was like, is there gonna be a commercial break? Is there gonna be an ad for Squarespace right now? What's the deal with this?
Episode of Doctor Strange is brought to you.
This episode of Marvel is brought to you by Dr. Pepper.
CW, Dare to Defy. We'll be back for a commercial break.
It's the Property Brothers show up. No, that was I love that. That was somebody just honked outside. I don't know if you can hear that.
I think I kind of heard that.
The circle wipe was so fucking funny to me.
Especially
and then I
when it goes
watched
right on his
Olivia the
face.
second time, and she was like, "What the fuck?" And it was so good. It's so good. I love it.
Everyone loves just harsh cuts. Even me, I like harsh cuts.
I love a good harsh cut. We love a good harsh cut.
But the fading back and forth is just really
I'm a sucker for a whip.
It's like them, and then Wanda comes in the middle and shit. It's like that's cool. That's some cool.
It's
shit.
So funny. It's so like. I don't know.
That's some Raimi shit too. That's something he does like so much in Spider-Man 2.
It's just like I would like just in general the style of this movie. Somebody's still honking. What the
I
heck
could
is
hear.
going
I think
on?
it's Sam Raimi. He's like,
Sam Raimi's like, stop talking about my movie.
Yep.
It's like it's just bleeding, oozing with his style. You know, like after that. after that period, like there's still like chunks where I'm like, okay, this doesn't feel
But
Sam.
that's where you can
But
kind of tell that this is where they did the movie,
they let him do his thing for a lot of it. I'm like, hell yeah.
Yep.
Like it's not perfect, but like overall, that's like a huge win that I want to
Yeah.
respect,
Yeah. Especially
Um,
even shit with him and like Scarlet Witch and Wong even later where they're like going up. I'm like, okay, this
yeah,
is kind of fun. It's like it's
yeah.
not the best thing in the world, but it is kind of fun. Do we want to talk
And like
about
the stuff where Wanda possesses the other self is like straight up the
yeah. Oh,
shot.
that I forgot that
You
that's
never
what
watched Evil Dead.
happens.
You just watch my videos on it, so you don't
I
even like
know, so
know.
I can't
But the
tell.
the shot of her looking at the window and then the piano and it's Scarlet Witch, that is
Hmm.
literally right out of Evil Dead, like
Yeah.
right out of the first Evil Dead. It's fucking like it. Oh, I adore it.
Yeah.
And then like the little shit with like the peas in the fucking ocean in the
Does she
teacup.
also
Why are they honking?
I didn't hear that one,
All right,
but
that's awesome. Whatever.
do they also break the fourth wall like Jim Halpert from The Office in the Evil
When
Dead?
she looked at the camera, I
Yeah.
shit myself. I like
You didn't
straight
know
up
that?
almost pooped.
You didn't know
No,
that? They spoiled
no.
it
I
in
mean,
the
I noticed it when I
trailer.
saw it the first time. I didn't
Yeah.
see it. I don't watch the trailer. I
Okay.
like didn't really
This
pay
is
attention.
smart.
That's
I
such a
saw it.
fucking crazy thing
That's
because they do it
cool.
twice.
Yeah.
It's so fun. I love
Because
it.
she just keeps
Ah,
looking
God.
at it for a bit. She's just
She just,
like,
it's disturbing. Like she looks
look at
at
me,
you.
audience, as I look at
Yeah.
you in the camera. This is disturbing. Am I
Just
right?
I love it. I
Yeah.
like Sam like and like Bailey tweeted it, but like they didn't do the bathos thing where they make them jokey and like
Yeah,
make fun
that's
of them and
that was
stuff.
the other Bailey tweet
She's
that I saw.
scary.
Yeah.
She is scary throughout, and I love that. It's great.
The fucking tunnel chase and shit. Yeah,
Tunnel Chase was freaky. Yeah,
she's terrifying,
um,
limping and shit.
yeah.
But yeah,
But
is the
yeah, so then the
Illuminati
Darkhold
next?
gets destroyed, and then we got that whole plot, which like is. I just feel like she could have started in that temple, and it would have been equally like as interesting,
Yeah, yeah,
Like I don't
that's
think we
true.
needed like the book, and then like maybe it could have been she already knew about the temple. I don't know how that could work, but
But then
like
she
they
needs a
destroy the book,
sorcerer to take her there or something like that.
something like that, or like she like they destroy the Darkhold
It'd been fun. It would have been
the
funny if
Darkhold.
like she can't sling ring or something like that, and so she needs someone like Wong to like sling
Yeah,
ring in or something.
because it's like you think you have a win, and it turns out no, it's not. I
Yeah,
liked the scene of her like torturing the people to like get information and stuff, but
yeah,
I was
yep.
like, it just doesn't feel as like the tension's not here
The
throughout.
stuff with Wong I liked with her and Wong that I liked was the conversation that she has with Wong, where he's like, "Aren't you satisfied knowing that at least some version of your family
Yeah,
lives
that was
on
great.
with the mother?" And
Yeah.
then she's like,
And I
"No."
liked
It's like,
I liked the kind of distorted motivation of like, well, what if they get sick? I can't
yeah,
just go there. I need to have complete control over the
yeah,
multiverse to take care of my
yeah.
kids. It's like it's such a fucked up and like
And she's like,
distorted
"Yeah,
way of
I
being a
can
mom.
defeat the shit out of everyone. I just want my kids though."
Yeah.
It's like,
Kids
yeah.
are we're talking about the kids actually.
What about the
I'm
kids?
sorry. The kids are not. The kids are so girl, you do
We
you.
want the
You could get other
ice
kids.
cream.
They only
I
want
want
ice.
the
That's
ice
I mean,
cream.
relatable motivations, I guess. But
Yeah.
like, I'm just like, okay, these.
Yeah.
I was like, oh boy, these kind of
Were
annoying
they good
kids.
in They were better in WandaVision,
They
right?
were better in WandaVision, yeah. And maybe
Yeah.
Sam was like, hey, kids, ham it up for the camera, because
Yeah.
that could
That's
be
a
like an
very
intentional
like
thing.
because the other kid's like, we want the ice cream.
It was funny that they didn't know that like it was like the SNL thing where like the two singers don't know the songs that they're singing and they like
Yeah.
they come up with the words on the spot.
Yeah, because they're just
Um
reading it or some shit.
yeah, but I was just like, "Oh wow, you're doing a lot for these kids." These guys,
She was
really?
like
Oh,
tearing
that
up and
sucks.
shit.
I know there are a lot of Billy fans out there, and I feel really bad, but like, I'm sorry, I don't get it.
Man, I think they're more comic Billy fans than they are. I
Yeah,
haven't seen
yeah,
people
it's
freak out
yeah.
about this interpretation of them. So
Well, because they're probably not going to do anything with them interestingly.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but
But
yeah.
is
Then we're in the fucking Joker cage. We're in the Loki
the
cage.
Skyfall cage.
We're in the Skyfall cage. We're
Yeah.
in
The Illuminati?
the
The
Star Trek
Illuminati?
cage.
What are you, the
The
Avengers?
Illuminati?
The Avengers? Shield? Hydra? No, the Illuminati. What, the Illuminati?
I do want to point out, I fundamentally believe that the way you best judge somebody's character is how they treat like service workers. Steven was an asshole to the scientists before he realized it was
Yeah.
Christine. He was a piece of shit to them. He
He's
was like,
like,
"Hey, lab coat. I hope you know that nothing ever happens.
To-
Things always end bad for people
in
like you." It's
his-
like, oh wow, what an asshole.
in his defense, they did lock him up in a fucking
But
Skyfall
like,
cage.
I don't know. Maybe a please would be nice, Steven. I get that's
Yeah.
the point. I get he's supposed, but I'm like, oh Jesus Christ.
Please, guys.
I
I
wish
I,
I
I
wish in the
don't want to see the
memory
Illuminati.
I
Crap.
wish in the memory where he's at the dinner with her, I wish we also got to see him be like, "Hey waiter, where's my fucking meat? Where's my drink? You forgot my Diet Dr. Kelp." You don't get that reference because you don't watch SpongeBob. You never
No, I
watch SpongeBob. I'm
don't.
exposing you.
I watched SpongeBob. I
Gotcha.
just didn't see all of it, and I didn't grow up with it as much. There's an
Don't be
episode
so-
where he
okay.
tries to get his driver's license, and I remember vaguely what
There's
happens.
an episode where that's the
He
whole
does the.
show.
I know he does that a lot too, but like, there's the. I saw one where he like.
Guys, there's the one episode where he cooks the burgers. There's the one where he lives in the pineapple.
No, but,
I
like,
saw
there was
that one.
There was an episode I saw. God fucking damn it! This is.
Gotcha.
You
You're
got me a little bit.
exposed.
I did. You did get me a little.
One
bit.
day we'll watch the movie at least because the movie's a banger. The movie's
Yeah.
great. But yeah. So we does Christine is there?
Yeah.
She's a redhead.
That's a good
Her hair's
conversation.
very red.
Yeah,
her
too
hair is
red.
so red.
Too red.
So
That's my argument. Everyone's
Is
hair
that
is
like
too
the
red.
thing?
Even fucking Lizzie Olsen's hair is a little too red sometimes. I'm like, okay, all right, I get it. You're the
I
Scarlet.
think you might.
Witch.
Okay, all right. Now we're getting onto like ginger hatred
Not
right
like
now.
ginger.
Hang on.
Not like No, there's one where
You
it's
just hate
straight-
redheads.
No, it's like really red. Maybe I'm
Problematic
not thinking-
Mithi. Back at it. You hear this, folks?
God, I'm not.
You hear this, folks? You hear this? On
Okay,
the main he
I'm
knows
not
there's a potential of like
there
50,000
is
people seeing the
nothing
thing. He's
wrong with
confidently. Confidently.
I'm not saying the one where she's like ginger. That stuff is fine. There's like a God. There's. I don't know what to do here. I don't know what to do here. Troy puts me in these traps and then expects me to get out like I'm in fucking.
That's
a
the
Saw
thing.
movie.
That's adulthood. You gotta get out of the trap.
I am constantly in a Saw movie with this podcast.
That's me. They call me
Say the
Mr.
thing,
Jigsaw.
and I say the thing, and then I get trapped, and then I die.
You know who
And
else
then-
said the thing? The Illuminati. They said the thing and we
They-
clapped. They didn't actually say like a thing, but we clapped when we saw them.
When,
Everybody.
So there's 6 members, right? I didn't count. I couldn't remember.
So, yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Mordo,
Is
Carter, Black
Black
Bolt,
Bolt-
Strange. No, not Strange. Black Bolt, Carter, Xavier, Mordo, Captain Marvel, and Reed. Yes, 6.
6. Yep.
Yeah.
That's a great little bit.
It just feels so disjointed and like you can tell the exact same thing. Like I understand like why they exist in terms of like our Strange was an asshole and did this and you don't want to be like that Strange.
Yeah.
But like you don't need them. They can you could straight up have Christine say that.
I
Right, and it would
kind
actually
of
probably
wish
work
it
better.
were more Doctor Strange related characters. Like it was Wong, the Ancient One, Christine, then Mordo.
And I
then
get the appeal of the Illuminati. They are an interesting thing in the comics. They suck. They're like that's the whole thing is they're assholes and like that's
they're
I
basically
guess
they're a secret world order.
They
right?
are the utilitarian like idea like personified.
And,
like their whole thing is
they kill one of their own
Yeah.
because it's utilitarian. So
yeah, and I think that's interesting. If they had leaned into maybe the Illuminati could have. I don't know. That's another movie. I think
of them being the bad guys.
make the whole Illuminati a villain in Doctor Strange 3 or something.
Yeah,
because it's just like Black Bolt. Black Bolt was cool to see. I was like, I don't like the Inhumans show. I don't think anybody does, but Black Bolt was sick. I was like, hell yeah,
fun.
he looks rad.
He's like,
He
and then I'm like, okay.
I think he's.
that's
I don't know.
good.
I just love Black Bolt. I think that might just be a thing. I love that character, and they did it. They
They
was
gave him
pretty
the
sick.
wings for that second. That was cool.
He had the wings, and they gave him the craziest death I've
Yeah.
ever seen.
That was probably the best death in the movie,
I think so.
aside from Spaghetti.
Carter's was also pretty rad. Carter's was
that's right.
fucking
The way that
radical.
shield slams into the fucking wall,
And then just the zoom in on her face with that. Oh,
yeah,
that's so good.
Yeah.
That's so much fun. I adore. This is I don't really like the scenes that much, but I absolutely fucking adore for very petty reasons. The idea of we're gonna market these cameos. You come to see Dr. Xavier, come to maybe see Mr. Fantastic. We don't know. Like market all these things. Like this is the big deal, the Illuminati. And then 5 minutes later, you kill them all in a brutal fashion.
They fucking died.
I totally understand people being mad, but also I'm like, that's so funny. That's like it's such a big
Captain
fuck
Marvel
you to
got
like
the worst
that
death.
mentality.
Everyone else got
It
like
was lame.
killed unique way, and she just got crushed by a rock. And I'm like, all
I'm
right,
surprised it even killed her because it's like you'd think Captain
you're
Marvel could handle
yeah,
a rock,
a
but I mean I
rock,
don't
yeah.
know. It's that's the other actress. That's the girl. I don't remember their
That's
names because I don't really.
Lashana Lynch from No Time to
Yeah,
Die,
from
and she is
Captain Marvel and shit,
Maria
right?
Rambeau. Yeah,
Yeah,
Monica. I
yeah.
don't remember which one's Maria, which one's Monica.
Monica's the her daughter.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
This Maria
That's
Rambeau.
an interesting. I don't know how that worked. How did that happen?
She
Because
maybe
whatever. It's just
she
a fun
was.
little
They're
casting thing.
both pilots, right? And that's how they got their powers. She was the pilot instead. I guess
Yeah,
that's.
okay, that makes sense. I don't remember the Captain Marvel plot very much.
I surprisingly remember a
It
couple
is
things.
weird to put Captain Marvel on the Illuminati because like that's never been a team member to my knowledge.
Yeah, they're just trying to think of
Like,
like the big pockets of the universe that they
but
want to
it's
touch.
like
But
the team is usually Doctor Strange, Charles, Cap was on it for a little bit. Black Panther was never on it. Just kidding.
I thought Black
Like
Panther
there's
was on it. No.
he was initially going to be, and then he was like, "This is fucked up. I'm not doing this."
Oh, okay. Namor.
Because Namor, yeah, Namor was on it.
Mhm.
Namor would have been fun, actually. I won't lie.
Yeah.
But I
They
guess they didn't
cast
want to.
him
Well, no,
already, right? There was some guy who
did they?
like turned out to maybe be an asshole. I don't know what happened, but I heard that
I
they
don't know.
cast his role.
I don't know. But like, I'm surprised that they did Captain Marvel and not a version of Tony. And maybe I'm a little
Yeah.
petty because maybe I wanted to see Tony die a brutal death. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know.
If they had done
Sue me.
Tony, would it have been Tom Cruise Tony? No, like
Okay,
everyone
maybe
was
that
saying.
would actually maybe I would have wanted to see it brutal, even brutaler then, because that would be that would be a weirder take.
Guys, we gotta stop Wanda. We gotta stop her
I
from doing
like
this because that's wrong. And then he dies brutally. He actually
yeah.
falls off the
Okay,
cliff.
the monkey's paw will be it's Iron Man, but it's Rhodey, and I'd feel really bad because I love Rhodey. So never mind. Actually, I'm glad Iron Man
Actually,
because
that's
they would have done
probably
Rhodey.
true. They would have done
That's
Rhodey
realistically what
instead.
they would have done.
Yeah, yep.
So never mind. Glad that didn't happen because
Yeah.
I love fucking love Don Cheadle.
Yeah.
But like, yeah. So, what we want to talk about the thing?
All
Want to
right.
talk about the casting?
All right.
Actually, hang
As
on.
I look in
Sorry, I had to pee. Yeah, you want to talk about the casting, the big news, the big deal of this movie
the big
that
Jim
everybody was
Halpert
talking
moment.
about?
The big Jim Halpert moment.
Jim Halpert, Jim from the yeah. So
I
Jim from
wanted
the
him to
Office,
just
John
look at the
Krasinski.
camera, honestly. When he like
I'm
showed
sorry,
up.
yeah. I mean, he
could've
kind of
just
was
been
doing
like,
the Jim face the entire time.
It's
But
just
John
his
Krasinski
face.
is playing this multiverses version or Earth 838's version of Reed Richards of the
Now,
Fantastic Four.
let's start from why did
I
they
want to
do
start.
it?
Actually, there's one point I want to get through quickly.
Okay.
I fucking adore that Doctor Strange was like, weren't you guys a thing in the 60s? I heard that. I was like, oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's sick. Cause
Yeah.
now my pitch is going to age very well,
Because
aside from maybe this specific casting,
because
or
it can
maybe the
just take place
specific
in the
casting will
60s.
make it age even better.
Yeah.
So who's to say?
And your pitch being that, like, as you had on your thumbnail, that all of them are John Krasinski. Right?
Everybody's John Krasinski.
Yeah.
I do think John Krasinski should play Sue Storm,
He should direct
Johnny
it too.
thing, and direct
He
it.
should write it.
He should do the music.
Yeah.
Everything should be John Krasinski.
Yeah. I know that was a question we got asked on Twitter. Who should direct the next Fantastic Four? John Krasinski as himself.
As everybody.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
I've talked about this on the channel before. So like what do you think of the casting? Like what's like genuinely like what's your thoughts on this?
When I first heard of it, on the basis of like, okay, John Krasinski and Emily Blunt, I've seen their interview compilations together. They're cute together because they're a real couple and they got a kind of chemistry. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna sound like a basic bitch. I love The Office. I think it's a great show. Is it sometimes overrated? Sure. But it is a great show. Is that Reed Richards? I've not read a lot of Fantastic Four, but what I have read of Fantastic Four, maybe not a lot of people like. I've read a lot of Ultimate Fantastic Four. And I know that's not everyone's favorite because they do some weird shit. But the first few issues in the first like 2 volumes aren't bad, I want to say. And that's not John Krasinski. That's not the kind of person that you want for John Krasinski. I know people have been talking about like, is Reed Richards more of like a father figure? And then maybe I could kind of see it like maybe there's an angle there.
Stuff, yeah.
But
yeah.
It's just that one edit. That one edit ruined everything for the world. And it's the one of him. I think it's a picture of him from Jack Ryan that they just added. I
think it's from Zero Dark 30. Was he in that?
It might have been from that. Yeah.
It's something. Yeah. It's one of those shows and he's shirtless in that shot. And then people Photoshop on essentially the Captain America suit.
Yeah.
And it's that one edit, like it initially I used to think, oh, it's an okay pick. Yeah. I was on the same page as you. Was like, yeah, that's a decent pick. Ironically, he was kind of my pick for Green Arrow for a while. Him and Emily Blunt
Mm,
for Green Arrow and Canary,
yeah,
for the same reason that everybody wants him for Reed.
yeah.
I've always felt he would fit Green Arrow a little bit better.
Because you're pairing him up with
Now,
his
not so
wife a
much,
lot
but
at the time too. Because
yeah,
Emily Blunt
and
is
then
a
also
great
he's
actress.
he's a guy that can be funny, but also can take himself serious. Like that
Yeah,
feels a little bit, it fits Green Arrow better now, and I don't really now it doesn't really work for me now.
yeah,
I don't I thought that a long time ago,
yeah.
before obviously Journey was cast and everything.
Mm,
But like I've always felt like I've never hated the casting, but it has always felt very much like he is an MCU actor, if that makes sense. He's
yeah.
somebody that is like he's a Chris
He
Evans.
is
He's gonna
a
be Captain America.
he is a Chris
It's
Pratt of sorts. You know,
Yeah, in a way. I
where
like
you
him a
get him
little bit
on
more.
and
They
he's
hang
gonna
out.
still
They
be
they
himself.
hang out a lot. That's kind of what shows it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um. I've always felt it's like he is an action star. You know, he's decent at that. He's in a lot of movies that I don't really care for. But aside,
yeah,
he's good in Quiet Place, and he's a good director with those.
yeah,
So like he's not a bad actor. He's talented.
yeah,
I just don't know if I can see him having because I don't want Reed Richards to be an action star.
yeah,
I want Reed Richards to be a scientist first, a researcher first, and
yeah.
a father first.
And that's what he is
And
in the Ultimate Comics. He, I don't. You can tell me if he's like this in the other comics. He's
mhm,
just a fucking nerd, and like he has a little swag, and like he's a quirked up white boy with a little bit of swag, you know, like a little bit.
yeah,
But like he's
busting it down stretchy style.
stretchy style. I mean, he gets Sue Storm in the second volume of the book. Like he's got some pull, but still, he is the nerd. He is just the
Yeah.
nerd guy who's sitting at his computer and obsessing over like these grand. He
Hmm.
is very utilitarian. You know,
He's not Tony Stark. That's kind of like what I see him. Like Tony
yeah,
Stark is like the cool nerd in that way
yeah,
of like, oh, Tony Stark is is everything that Peter Parker wants to be.
yeah,
Not to bring in Spider-Man, but like Reed Richards is kind of realistically everything Peter Parker will be.
yeah, yep.
Could ever
Which is
be.
why they pair him up with Peter
But
a
then on top
lot.
of that, Reed's a piece of shit a lot of the time.
Yeah, yep,
In the utilitarianism way. He is really. I like that they brought up his kids. I think that's a cool.
yeah,
If they do that, they can just show he has kids.
yeah.
Hell yeah, that's all we need.
I'm assuming
Um,
it would it be Sue? I guess they didn't confirm. Would it Sue? Fuck. Would it be
would be
Emily Blunt?
Emily Blunt. If it
I
would be weird to. That's because that's the only reason I could possibly be interested in it because I like
yeah,
Emily Blunt and I think she would be a good Sue.
yeah,
And I guess they come as a package pair.
yeah.
But like if you get him and you don't get her, I'm like that's kind of weird.
Strange,
And
yeah.
so it's just like
Doctor
and
Strange.
this kind of proved to me he's not bad by any means in this.
But he's
But he's
soulless.
not he's very soulless. He's very just kind of saying his lines for the camera and
The
looking
biggest
cool.
problem that we've identified is Doctor Strange.
Like I was like this isn't Reed Richards. This is John
Yeah.
Krasinski wearing the suit is weird.
The
I
suit
don't like
is
the suit.
not great. It's weird.
The suit is very
Black
MCU-ified.
patches
I
and
don't
stuff.
like the little texture it has on the
Not the
logo.
original suits. The suits from the old movies, the Chris Evans movies, the Ian Griffith movies, those suits are fucking cool. Those
Yeah,
suits are
they're
awesome.
great. They're perfect. And
Let's
also,
bring those
Ian
suits
is
back.
he's that's perfect casting. It's kind of
That's a
going to be
good,
hard to top
yeah,
that. I'm going to be real.
yeah.
He's great. You know,
Give him a beard, yeah.
yeah, and it's like like that. Even that version of the Reed, I was like, yeah, I could see this being Reed Richards. I feel the scientist. He's kind of like he's still a little like standard movie main
There's a
character,
little
but
bit
I
more Tony
feel
Stark
he's
in him,
Reed.
but it's still
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
yeah. This really just kind of comes across, and maybe we didn't get enough time with him. It just came across as standard action hero. He didn't sell me. This was his audition for me, and he didn't sell me.
Yeah, yeah, yep.
Versus
I think this was his
I've been a
audition for
big
the
fan
rest
of
of the fans too, yeah.
yeah. I've been a big fan of William Jackson Harper for that casting too, and
Mhm.
he was in. Do you watch those like Netflix like Death of the Year things every year?
No, I do not.
They're these like comedy recaps of the
Death of
year, and they're kind of
2020, Death
cringe,
of
but they're also
2020, yeah.
yeah, and they're kind of cringe, but they're kind of funny. William Jackson Harper plays a piece of shit asshole scientist in
Mhm.
it who's like an egomaniac, and
Yeah.
I'm like he basically plays Elon Musk, but it's like
Elon
take that and
Musk as
pull it back a
Fantastic
little bit.
Four?
It's a little too
Yeah.
much, but like I was like, oh, this is kind of perfect, and
Yeah.
he has a beard and everything. I was like, oh god, I kind of like this.
Yeah.
So he's Harper's always been my pick for it,
And
and like
the way that
Krasinski's.
they've done the multiverse, they can still
Mhm.
do that. I don't
Yeah, that's the
know.
insane thing. I'm seeing everybody say they introduced Reed Richards and then killed him off. Why
Yeah.
would they do that?
That's not
I I do you understand? Doctor Strange is killed at the beginning of this movie. That's not Doctor Strange. That's the whole point.
Yeah,
That's how the multiverse works. It's like the same people commenting on my old No Way Home pitch,
yeah.
where I had Donald
Spider.
Glover as an
Yeah,
older Miles, and
that
being like,
he's
he can't
actually
be
the
Miles. He
Prowler.
was his uncle. It doesn't make
That's the
sense. It's like that's the whole. That's what the
that's the point
multiverse
of
is.
why people have been
Everybody.
doing it. Why the fuck did everyone want Toby to be Uncle Ben? This is why,
Yeah,
is the weird
because
shit like this that
that's
you
the
can
point
do.
of the multiverse.
Yeah,
So I think it's hilarious when I see people be like, "Oh, so Reed Richards just dead now? What the fuck?" It's like, were you not paying attention? Like this is
yeah,
clearly not our Reed Richards, because they said they charted in the like the
yeah.
charted in the 60s.
They sharded in
You
the
know,
60s. They
they
shit their
charted
pants in
charted
the
in the
60s.
60s. Yeah,
Yeah.
John Krasinski shit his pants in the 1960s.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, like I don't. I feel like there's who knows now. It's probably going to get delayed without a director, but like I am
Yeah.
really interested in what they do. If they cast John as the main Reed, fine. I hope he does a better job than he did here, but
Here's
he
my
didn't really convince me here.
These are the possibilities. Either John Krasinski is going to star in it and Peyton Reed is going to
Hmm.
direct it. John
Yeah,
Krasinski is going to star and direct it,
that I
or
could be okay
none of
with.
that is going to be true.
Yeah, I would rather it be none of them. But if John Krasinski's gonna be in it, I'd hope he'd direct it.
Directs it too.
But
I feel like he
yeah,
might want to. So,
yeah, because it's essentially a family story. So and he's good at that stuff.
yeah.
But like it's not my ideal situation.
No, yeah.
And the thing that I'm really kind of annoyed with this, and I said this when when this leaked, that John Krasinski was going to be playing this multiversal version of him.
Yeah.
Now, realistically, if it is anybody but John Krasinski, especially if it's going to be like a person of color like William Jackson Harper, like I want, um, people are going to be a shit. It's going to be a shit show. People are going to be like, bring back John Krasinski.
Yeah.
He was so much better as Reed.
He was so
It's
much
gonna
cooler.
there's
Yeah.
he's so much. It's
He
going
looked more
to be
comic
a
accurate. That's what they're
disaster.
going to say. You're going to say that.
He looked more.
Yeah.
He was a white man with a beard and a blue suit. He
Yeah.
looked more comic
With
accurate.
gray temples.
That's all Reed Richards is. Yeah,
Yeah.
he does have the gray. You're right. Like I just I don't know. Whatever they end up doing, it's going to be a nightmare.
Yeah.
I kind of hope that they put up with that nightmare to do something interesting, as opposed to just more Marvel character shit in a textured armory looking suit, looking like Captain America 2.0.
Yeah.
Because Reed's not Captain America 2.0, but I think they want John Krasinski to be that.
I mean, they wanted him to be Captain America, for goodness sakes. Yeah. Originally. So it's like,
And ironically, he would have been better for that than Reed. I granted Chris was great. I wouldn't want anybody but Chris, but like, it just didn't.
In that position, it might have worked.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like his performance is just kind of like.
He just talks. He says his lines. He does a great job. He memorizes his lines.
He was on set for like a day or two.
He stretched a little bit and then
CG
became
was
spaghetti.
Weird, right? Like every time he like stands, they made his arms and legs
it wasn't
longer, right?
It wasn't rushed because that was leaked like a year ago.
Yeah,
so
but like,
I don't know what the.
But like they did do shit with his arms and legs, right? Like when he's just standing
they do
there,
the kind of comic-y thing, and like it was fine. It was a little weird CG-ish. I think
it was
that might
weird
just be the suit.
glistening. Yeah,
that might just be the decision with the suit and stuff.
Yep.
And then he turns into blue spaghetti.
Then
and
he's
I
spaghetti.
It's if anything, it was on top of just the idea of on top of just the whole thing with the cameos being killed instantly being really funny. It's extra funny to see all the people be really excited about this casting. They've been the fan cast and then kill them off in a
Wasn't Christian
fashion.
saying something about like Charles being like, oh
yeah.
It's like
it's just hilarious to me. It's such an asshole thing to say, but like it's funny to me to see like. I don't know, because
people cheer.
I don't know.
Die.
I don't really believe in like big petitions for fan casts becoming a thing.
Yeah,
like that's weird. We kind of only cast John Krasinski because of the way he looks.
Yeah,
it's the same with like Charlie Hunnam for
we cast
for Green
him because
Arrow.
of him and his wife. Honestly, Emily
we cast him mostly because of his wife.
Job. Yeah.
Like it's not interesting to me, That's my.
Who are your Ben Grimm and Human Torch fan casts?
I don't have anybody for Johnny.
Is it Seth Rogen?
Seth Rogen is a perfect casting for the thing, and nobody can convince me otherwise.
Yeah,
he's genuinely a perfect casting.
I keep seeing the fucking Zac Efron for the Human Torch, and now he says he's interested. I don't know.
He feels a little too. I feel like he should be Tom Holland's age.
Yeah, I mean, he's
Because we've
supposed to
already
be Emily Blunt's
lost out on the
brother.
friendship between Peter and Daredevil. Like, I would like to at least get the relationship between Peter
Yeah.
and
If it
Torch,
is Emily Blunt, though, it's supposed to be someone who's like her her brother, right?
her brother. He could be a
So
younger brother.
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
He could be. Yeah, he could be
she looks
like
young. Yeah,
22 to Peter's 18 or something.
yeah. Like an Andrew
You know,
Garfield looking age, or
yeah.
Andrew Garfield's like
Get
almost
Andrew Garfield.
40.
Fuck it,
I
dude.
forgot.
Get Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, I mean
Holy
it's a
fuck, yeah.
multiverse.
I'm
Why
down
not?
for it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um.
get
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield as Reed. That'd be interesting.
Yeah. Andrew Garfield is anybody. Andrew
Yeah,
Garfield's too good for the MCU.
he's got
Actually,
that
never mind.
lanky look. Yeah,
Yeah.
enjoy your
Um.
hiatus from acting, Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah,
You deserve a break. I with the suit, I really didn't like the like weird little like techie texture that they put behind the
yeah,
four. That was
yeah.
kind of strange to
It
me.
felt like the thing. You know that one picture that everyone
It
shows
felt like a thing
around.
they do on the CW. They've done. I think they've done that on the CW. I think I
Yeah,
remember one of the Flash suits having this weird like glistening effect to it. And I was like, I don't
yeah, it
really
might have
like
been
that.
the fifth season Flash suit or some shit like that.
Yeah, something like that.
The you know what every time I look at the force symbol like that big in the middle,
Hmm.
I always think of the stupid Kevin Feige edit where they just took Kevin Feige and they put the four in his chest, and they always, I don't know what's so funny about it.
I don't know what
But
you're talking about, but
it's
go
just
off,
it's
King.
I'll share it with you at some point. It's
Okay.
just Kevin Feige and it's in his normal fucking jacket and hat, but then they just put the four symbol on his chest to make him a member of the Fantastic Four. I guess I don't know. It's really fucking weird. But
That's
yeah,
pretty funny.
Spaghetti
Um,
Man, good job.
Spaghetti Man, very funny. Do you want to talk about Charles?
Oh
The thing
yeah,
that they
I
advertised?
we kept talking about him. We forgot about
Can't,
Charles.
yeah.
Charles's death was cool. That was a cool
It
death.
was, yeah, I felt bad though.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just did this need to be Patrick Stewart, you know? Could this not have been James? I'm just
maybe
like
James
Patrick
wouldn't have done it.
maybe, but I'm just kind of like Patrick. He had a perfect send off with Logan. He had the
Yeah,
perfect
and then
ending for
now
that
he's back
character.
with this. Yeah,
And now it's like now his actual last time playing the character is a scene where he gets his fucking neck by the
by
Scarlet Witch,
Wanda,
you know, and he's
by
on the
Lizzie
Illuminati
Olsen.
where he kills his friend. I'm
Yeah,
just like, that's kind of upsetting, you know. I get it, you know, and
yeah.
I did. The only thing about the cameos where I was like, okay, that's kind of cool, aside from Black Bolt, was the music they used when Charles
Yeah.
came out. I was like,
Is the
okay,
animated series? Yeah.
that's the animated. That's
Yeah.
pretty sick.
You know,
If they
it's weird.
because that can mean if they don't forget about it, if that's the theme for the MCU X-Men, I will
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
nut.
For
That's
that'll be like on
perfect.
the trailer or some shit like that.
Like, you
For
know, but
sure.
if it needs, I hope it's the theme. I need
Yeah,
like a change. Like they have, like, was it Patrick Williams has the video about the music in
I
Marvel?
think so.
Like in terms of like Marvel music, like what do we have? We have the Spider-Man theme, the new one. Into MCU music, we have Spider-Man theme. It's really good. The
Yeah.
Avengers theme.
Da,
Maybe
da,
some
da,
other stuff I
da, da,
can't think
da,
of.
da. That's,
I don't even. Yeah, there's a couple. There's like there's some, but like they've got the X-Men animated series theme.
yeah.
That song
I
to
mean, the
like a lot of
show's
people
coming back
is
for Disney
X-Men.
Plus, right? So maybe
Yeah, yeah.
we'll loop that
Maybe
in.
I think it'd be neat to use that for the movies. I don't. I mean, they probably
Yeah.
won't, but I think it'd be
Do
cool.
you like his big yellow
His
chair?
what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
That was a weird one. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of Charles in big chairs. It's very
It
silly to
was
me.
kind of like it was really bulky.
It looked like he looked like he was in a go-kart. I was like, that doesn't feel
Yeah,
right.
yeah, kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
It's but I mean, I guess this is not
I have a confession to
the
make. I
yeah,
have an insane confession to make though.
yeah.
When he was going inside of Wanda's mind, I forgot Patrick Stewart could walk. he started
You
walking.
thought
I was
he
like,
was just
whoa!
perpetual.
I was like,
You know,
this CGI. I was like, oh wait, shit.
yeah, that I can see. I mean, I guess this is the same Xavier still. Like he's still that version of Xavier still had his send
This
off,
is not
but
the main.
like,
Yeah, yeah, but it's
but
still like the actor. You know, his
it's weird.
performance of the
That's
character.
the
It's like a little upsetting.
And here's the like just to kind of my final thought like on the Illuminati shit other than fun that they died.
Mhm.
What's the fucking Twitter thing? I didn't see all of that, but good for you guys. Or I'm sorry it happened. That's my thoughts with the Illuminati.
Yeah.
But the weird thing is, if you had told me 4 years ago, around the time maybe Infinity War was coming out or like Endgame was coming
Mhm.
out, and told me there's going to be this movie called Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and it's going to have fucking Charles Xavier from the original X-Men movies. It's gonna have Mr. Fantastic as fucking John
Jim from
Krasinski,
The Office.
and it's going to have Black Bolt in it for some reason, and there's going to be
Mhm.
Mordo, there's going to be Captain Marvel, and all these characters, and they're all going to be Doctor Strange, and Scarlet Witch is going to be the bad guy who kills all of them. I would have been so fucking excited, but like now that I see it, I'm like, eh, there's better
Yeah,
shit in
the
this movie.
like it's a cool. I understand why they exist,
Yeah,
and I like the I everybody hates that they died. I think it's great that they died.
it's good that they died. Yeah,
Yeah, but they definitely it doesn't really fit this movie.
yeah,
You
no.
know, you can cut it and focus on other things and have the same
Even
impact
when it's like he
basically.
fights Mordo, and that fight was cool, the hand to hand combat and shit. That was kind of fun in the
Hmm.
little thing there. Even when he leaves, he's like his last little moment in this entire film, this version of Mordo. His last moment
Hmm.
is, "I'm beginning to see why your Mordo doesn't like you so
Yeah, it's a
much," and that's
joke,
it. It's
which
like,
is
what the?
weird
Come on,
because
man.
that's a Doctor Strange character.
Yeah,
That's the
that's
villain,
the one, big
or
one.
that's the
Yeah,
one that's the one they set up in the last one.
that's his Winter Soldier.
It would be
Yeah,
like if we got a Green Lantern sequel
yeah.
and Sinestro was in it and was just kind of just like a little thing in
And then
the
he like
joke.
fell on a
It's
whoopee
like that's
cushion. Yeah,
Sinestro.
yeah.
Yeah.
What is this? The
I don't
Jack
know. The
Black
fight was
Green
really cool
Lantern
though.
movie?
I love there's an edit that they do that Sam does. It's such a Sam thing
Yeah.
where Mordo's like swinging the sword and then we cut to Strange's reaction and then we
Mm.
see him move.
Yeah.
I love it. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is when this movie is allowed to be Sam, it's fantastic. But then when
Yeah.
it's not during like some of those Illuminati things,
Then
I'm
it's
just
only
like, oh,
Mr.
this is
Fantastic, SMH.
yeah,
Yeah.
that
I
was
actually
good.
said
That was a good one.
SMH. Why did I say SMH?
You
I
said S.
feel
Oh, I didn't hear. You could have gotten away with that. I wouldn't. I didn't hear you. I
yeah, I don't know why I said that. I regret
fuck.
it.
You
I'm
just
sorry.
exposed yourself. You're
I
like, oh, Troy
did.
puts me in all these traps. You put yourself in there,
Yeah, I
motherfucker.
did. Half of them are mine, yeah. But yeah, what happens after the night nurse stuff? That's cool. The Rachel McAdams coming back with
Yeah.
shit.
So they go.
You know,
Yeah.
you know what I will say about the watch?
Hmm.
That was from Red Notice. Red Notice
Actually,
did the
wait. Before we
same thing.
before hang up, I just realized because I'm
Yeah.
going through the synopsis right now.
Oh yeah.
The scene in her mind when Patrick when
The
Charles is killed.
Legion scene.
I
I'm
am
calling it the Legion
very,
scene.
very surprised we didn't get a Magneto reference. Like, of all the cameos that would have got me hyped, him saying, I knew your dad would have gotten me kind of excited. Just because I fucking love Magneto
Oh,
with a
okay.
passion. And it's kind of weird to me how we haven't done anything with that. They
It
have the
is
rights to him.
because I
They've had the
always
rights to the
thought
X-Men since 2017, and we've had so many stories with
I
Wanda, and we
I
haven't had
used
any
to
mention of
think
him.
I used to think when the bomb didn't explode during her
Mm-hmm.
origin,
That was
I
a
I
Magneto thing?
always thought that was Magneto. Like Magneto
Interesting.
died, but before he died, he stopped the bomb and saved his two kids, or something like that. That's
That
what I
could be
always thought.
interesting.
But like,
Well,
then
but
they
then she
showed
literally, but then
WandaVision,
Agatha
and
literally
she
said, yeah.
stopped it, or whatever the fuck. And
Mm,
I was like, oh, okay, all right. I guess that's kind of sad because I've always thought
yeah, I
this, and
mean,
I guess that's not true.
that's an interesting idea. I wouldn't want Magneto dead though, because I fucking
That's
love that guy. I love
that's
that
true.
character with a
Yeah.
passion.
But then
Yeah,
like but then now I guess so technically she just is Scarlet Witch because she is Scarlet Witch
that's
and
what's weird.
Quicksilver is
Is
Quicksilver.
did WandaVision establish that? And I want to talk about this in my X-Men video. But like, did WandaVision establish that she has two separate personalities with Scarlet Witch and Wanda?
They
That was kind of a weird
tried,
thing.
but it wasn't explicit because they were just
I thought it was like a
the
I thought it was like a
Scarlet Witch is
metaphorical
something.
split.
I always thought that the Scarlet Witch was her future, and they were always building up
Yeah,
to her future as the Scarlet Witch. And then this movie happened. I'm like, oh, I guess she is the Scarlet Witch now. So that's
yeah.
fun.
I was just surprised when he was like, "Your other self is coming." I was like, "Oh, I didn't know she had another self." And then Strange
Yeah.
says the same thing. I'm like, "Oh, okay."
No, but oh wait,
That's
in that scene, that's not like that's the Wanda from that universe. That's what that is. That's what I thought that was. Right?
oh,
That's what I thought that was.
oh my fucking
Yeah,
god.
you didn't realize that? Yeah,
Oh, you're
that's
okay.
what I
That
think that
makes
is.
that's A381. That makes so much more sense. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah.
A38
Okay.
Wanda.
I thought that they were saying that the Scarlet Witch and Wanda were was like a split, like two
No, no,
things in her
no, no,
head.
no,
Maybe
no,
I'm
no,
watching too much
no.
Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Um. Yeah. Okay. That makes so much more
Not
sense.
everything
All right.
not
All right.
everyone
All
has
right.
DID. Yeah.
I know. Well, hey, they didn't even mention DID in Moon Knight, so maybe he doesn't even either.
So yeah, maybe
They don't mention it by name in that show. We're
they
not talking
don't.
about the show. Never mind. We already
Yeah,
talked about
yeah,
that.
we moved
Watch
on
the
for
full
that.
podcast for more.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like
Okay, that makes way more sense. That makes
yeah,
way more
that
sense.
it's
All right.
supposed. I think at least that's what because she's wearing the darker shirt. That's how I always distinguish it because later on she's wearing the darker shirt. No,
I
wait,
didn't
but
catch that.
no. I still think
Oh,
it
wait,
is
hang on.
838 Wanda. The short theory is not
That
correct,
makes more
but I
sense.
do think it is
Because
838
it
Wanda.
also makes sense why Strange would be like, other Wanderer, if you're in there, sorry about this. Hold your
Yeah,
breath.
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because
Yep.
that's what I thought he was referring to, was like the split. Okay,
Yeah,
that makes
no. Yeah.
way more sense. Thank you
Yeah.
for clarifying that for me.
Yes. But yeah, they
Um,
chase her through the tunnels and that the
chase her through the
tunnels opens
tunnels
up.
in a very scary scene. Probably the
Yep.
biggest jump scare in that
That
movie.
jump scare was
I
yeah,
jumped.
that got
That
me.
got
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then the wash thing is from you never watched Red Notice, did you?
No, who?
That's
Okay,
a thing
comment down
in
below if you watch Red Notice.
I watched
Comment
it
down below.
and I thought
Tell
it
me,
was a
tell the
fine movie.
three of you that exist in this world. Let me know if you've watched Red
People,
Notice.
it's a Rock, Gal Gadot, and Gosling. Fuck,
Yeah,
Ryan Reynolds movie.
right.
It's a big movie. They just didn't. Not a lot of people watched it, but the
Can
thing
you
with the
name
wash,
another person that we? Can you name one person that we know by name who's watched Red
Christian
Notice?
watched it and
Christian
hated
doesn't
it.
count because Christian watches every movie. That doesn't count. Christian, name somebody. Name somebody like real who could realistically say that they watched
Name
it.
a real person.
Like name a real person. Yeah,
I
Christian's Australian.
can't.
He doesn't
No,
exist.
no. I only think I
Exactly.
can only.
Christian watches
But
so many
all I'm
fucking movies. I
saying
don't know
is the
how he does
thing
it.
about the watch fitting in a little groove and that unlocking something that is
Uh-huh.
Red Notice did it first. That's all I'm
You're
gonna
right.
say.
They ripped
I
off
don't
Red
think that
Notice
makes
here.
either movie better or
This
worse.
movie fucking sucks. They ripped off Red Notice.
They did. I'm just saying that Red
Yeah.
Notice did it last year.
All right. I'm
Oh,
surprised though. This is such a little thing.
yeah,
When he was like, it's got to be something that like only I know. Only I
yeah.
can that can unlock it. It's Was it not kind of weird that Christine was the one who's like, I figured it out the
It's a
watch.
watch. Yeah,
You'd think that that would be him that could figure that out, and
yeah.
he takes the watch off. I don't know. I feel like there could have been a more like serious
Also,
moment of
what
like
was he
him
doing with
thinking and
the
then
Eye of
taking the watch off.
Agamotto? Like,
It's
what
not the
is?
Agamotto. Well, I mean, the eye. I think the eye just kind of exists him when he does his magic. It just opens up, but there's
Okay,
not the stone's not in there anymore.
but he uses it specifically for that moment. He goes like this, and then it like opens up, and then he tries to like do the lock, and then it doesn't work, so then he closes it. That's why I
I
was
don't know. I
like,
think it might just be magic shit. I think it might just be silly magic shit. I don't know.
that. Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah, I like that it's on his neck now. It's like he
Yeah,
opens it
it's
right
not a
here
necklace.
instead of just
Yeah.
doing it like this.
It looks good like character was. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a little bow tie.
Yeah, but I was just kind of like, oh, she kind of solved that herself, which is
Yeah.
like that. That's supposed to be, in theory, that should have been like an emotional, important scene for her. But
Yeah,
not.
they
The
didn't
biggest
feel
in the
like
world, I
that
guess.
crazy of an emotional moment because they have later
You think
emotional
you
moments.
just like there was potential for it to be like what they do later with Strange of like, how do I know you're the real Strange?
Yeah,
Of like
yeah.
we're talking about his sister and stuff.
I never knew. Is
But
that a thing from the comics? Did he have a
I
sister?
don't. I've never heard of that, but that might it sounds like it is.
Yeah.
So I'm not the biggest. I'm not Doctor Strange. I mostly know
Sounded
through
cool. I mean,
other
not cool
characters.
because it's a sad thing, but
Oh, that sounded so cool, man.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
That your sister died when you were young. No,
Yeah. Whoa.
okay.
But
But it gives them reason to
so
be a doctor.
they find the book. They find their MacGuffin that we haven't mentioned.
and then it
And then
burns
nothing.
up.
I kind of like that it was like this is going to solve every problem, and then it's instantly destroyed. But
I wish
also,
they
it's
made a
really
bigger
weird
deal about it getting
story-wise.
destroyed, though. I wish they
Yeah,
were like
because it's also the
"Fuck."
only one in the multiverse.
Yeah.
It's also the only one. That's kind of
Yeah.
strange.
Yep.
And I feel
Kinda
like it
Doctor
should have been
Strange.
destroyed. Like, just in terms of like, okay, the big MacGuffin is destroyed. That's the thing that happens before the final act or before the final fight.
Yeah.
Like that's
But there's
like the
time
worst
there.
possible thing that can. There's
Yeah.
a whole other extra fight that like
There's a
doesn't
whole extra world
to
they go
exist.
to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which that was cool.
It's not like a
when she pulls
huge
back
deal.
her hair, I was like, oh,
Oh gosh,
okay.
she's scary. Yeah.
Yeah. She is terrifying, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
The color red gives scary signals. Unlike it did in that world.
Your hatred of redheads. You gotta stop it,
I
man.
don't. It's
you're
not.
on, you're on the main channel.
It's not her
You
hair.
can't- Yeah, come
It's
on,
her
dude.
outfit.
Come on, dude.
It's her outfit.
Can you believe this?
The
Can you
outfit
believe
is
this,
red.
everybody?
It's her outfit. I'm talking about the color
I love
red.
it when the outfit is red. I love it when the outfit is red.
I do love it when the outfit's red.
But yeah, so then America, or she grabs America, blasts them to the spooky incursion world. Not really an incursion.
Then
just
they need to go and save America.
No, it is an incursion,
I've heard like 5 people make that joke in the past like 3 days on like
I was
all
over that
separate
joke
reviews.
after the character was introduced in the comics. I was like, okay,
Yeah,
and now we're
okay.
done.
yeah, that's fair.
But
Is that her actual power set, by the way?
I can't remember. I read those books a long time ago. It was a run I really didn't like too.
Yeah.
So like I didn't really follow up
You know
on the
what
character.
was my introduction to America Chavez, and this is sad. The one like Disney XD show where it was like
Oh, with like
Spider
Squirrel Girl and
Gwen.
stuff and Gwen.
Yeah, and I was like,
Yeah, I
and
never
she
watched
was like
that.
just super strong, and that's all I remember. And then I didn't know what
I
else was
thought
her
it was
powers.
that actually, but hang on, I'm gonna actually look it up.
Mhm.
Continue to fill the space of with sound.
Yada yada yada, boop boop boo, ba
All right,
ba.
not what I meant, but okay.
You said fill it with sound. I can say whatever I
I meant
want.
like this. I meant like points. We're a podcast.
Well,
We're
point
not gonna
number
start
one.
scatting. Scooby doo bap boop boop bap boop boop.
Doobity-beep-a-doo.
I'll get to that apparently. Like
I can
why?
talk
Okay,
about
power. So
Fortnite.
power, superhuman speed, superhuman strength, super durability, interdimensional travel, flight, bioluminescence, bulletproof skin, teleportation. Okay, so yeah, interdimensional travel. That's like
Okay.
her thing.
You
Everything
read
else
that
is
out, and
like
all I
kind
could
of.
think of was like a DC supervillains layout, you know? Like that's how you build a power
Oh,
set.
okay, yeah.
Like give
America
her
Chavez is my custom
flight.
character in DC Supervillains.
Yeah, basically. Uh, that's a
Yeah.
lot of powers. But
But yeah, so
now
they go
she's
to
just like
Spooky World
magic
with Spooky Strange.
interdimensional traveler, which is kind of
I
fun.
mean, I'm
That's
assuming. I
cool.
mean, she clearly was strong. So like, they'll probably. I liked how when she way earlier when she stomped the thing came out as a star as a whole. That
Oh
was really
yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah. That was
I know
cool.
that's like the thing, but it looked nice. I like that.
Yeah,
Um, as opposed to just like breaking. I thought it was cool.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So we get to Spooky Strange. Um,
Spooky, scary, strange.
Spooky Strange, and then they fight with music. They
Yeah.
fight with music.
Yep.
I saw people
That's
saying that was
cool.
too goofy for them. That was the
That
best.
was
I
cool. That was
loved it.
cool as shit.
I adored it. That was some fucking Scott Pilgrim shit. There's
Yeah.
literally a scene of
Yeah.
Scott. That's literally a
Yeah.
fight in Scott Pilgrim. Actually,
Yeah. Yeah.
like I loved it, and
Yeah.
the music being like art like 616 Strange being like triumphant heroic music, and then the
Yeah.
evil Strange being like da 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 was
Yeah.
so stupid.
What
And like
that
when he
is
grabbed the
that Bach,
piano and he hit the
right?
piano, I love so funny. I don't
Is
know.
that is it,
Fuck, sure.
I don't know what it is. Or
I don't
Beethoven.
know
I don't know
comic
what
books.
the
I don't
fuck.
know anything about history.
I
What do you
had
think I
to
am?
study some of this shit once in high school,
What
and
do
I
you
forgot
think
all
I
of it.
am? But I
Under,
like when he smacks into the piano. Siri, get out of here.
and then he's like, "Wait a second, music."
No, just when he smacks into the piano, when it goes, it makes the tone. I'm like, oh fuck, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
really funny.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love that fight. I thought it
That
was
was a
fucking
really
fun.
nice, like when the note hits him
Has
and then
no
it like
reason to
zooms in.
exist. It
Yeah.
basically has no reason to exist. But I thought
I
it was
did
really
like
fun.
the small little touch of like the cape isn't with him anymore. That's kind of nice because it's like,
Oh, yeah.
he's gone so far down that he's like that, which is kind of fun.
Oh
Does
yeah,
it does it also mean his sister dies in every universe? That's kind of fucking sad.
probably. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's upsetting. That sucks.
but at least they only went to like 72.
Not upsetting. That
So
was not the term, not the phrase. But yeah, that's
this is
sad.
sorrowful. Yes. But then yeah, he dies, but then he still opens his third eye at the end, and then we
I think
never.
that's just to be Sam Raimi spooky.
That's okay. Yeah,
Because
that's fair.
also if Christine is like, all right, hey, go talk to Mr. Doctor Strange, go up to other Mr. Doctor Strange,
Yeah.
and then one of the Mr. Doctor Stranges comes in and fucking impales himself, and you're not sure which one it is.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's
you're
like I guess it was to kind of prove like, hey, don't help him,
yeah,
let him
okay.
die.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it was
fair.
spooky and silly. I liked it.
Yeah. And then they go up, and then they decided to do the cool shit. The moment he's
They
like,
do the
"Who said
coolest shit.
Who said they need to be alive?"
I fucking
Yeah.
that's the makeup on that is straight
Yeah.
up Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
It's the oh my god. Oh my fucking like it's if I could just rewatch this scene
It would just be
forever,
that. Yeah.
I would be
It's
satisfied.
the way it fades out and then it fades into him walking the mountain.
Yeah,
you know?
and the close up on the zombie's eyes when he
Yeah.
opens. Oh my god, it's so good.
Yeah.
And the music with it and the guitar, it's fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so it's so sick. And then when you've got the spirits coming after him and stuff,
Mhm.
Olivia was pointed like the chaos of Christine trying to fight the spirits.
Yeah.
It's literally Evil Dead.
The little spirit's voices. Stephen Strange. That's such a bad bitch.
They're literally
Fuck
the Deadites.
you.
They're
Yeah.
literally Deadites.
Yeah.
Like because the Deadites are like kind of like fuck you, I'm gonna fucking kill you. Like they're not like they're like gross, scary, but also kind of funny. And that's
Yeah.
literally how these were.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Go to hell, bitch!" It is like, I love it.
Yeah.
I fucking adored that scene, and it's so good. It's so
they
Sam Raimi.
went
It's so
with
much
the
fun.
demonic shit. They went all the way, which is kind of
They
fun,
weren't afraid.
you know?
Yeah, he's a scary looking zombie.
Yeah.
He's a gross
The
looking
way
dude.
his
I love
arms
that.
are like doing the weird shit.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
freaky.
Yep.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. There's a shot.
Did you
where
like the
she's
Did you like
being-
the cape? Did you think the cape was a little too much sometimes? I
What
thought
cape?
it was
What
a
are you
little
talking
weird sometimes.
about? The like shadow cape.
Yeah, the cape being with
Oh, I was
skirts
cool.
and
I thought it
shit.
was cool. I was cool with it. I
It
thought it was
was cool
rad.
most of the time. There was one moment where I'm like, okay, I get it. It's big and wide, and we can get back to the fighting. But
I don't know. I was all I'm really into the like let your hero have fucking
a
everything they
big
want. You
moment.
know,
Yeah, yeah,
it was almost like some like oh god, I loved it. It was like some anime shit in a way of like
yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
was. I loved it.
Yep.
It was just it's such a Sam looking thing. The
Mm,
makeup on him was so good, and like I'm just so glad that they let him make that and
yeah,
they let him do that.
yeah,
And like just the guitar strings,
yeah,
when they do it, it's so good. It's so
yeah,
sick. It's
yeah,
so like oh fuck yeah,
yeah.
you know. And
Because this
like
movie that was so
the
much more
mess of the
focused
script
on like,
aside, it's the shit like that where I'm like oh fuck, this is great.
yeah, yeah.
You know.
Where it's like that's probably wasn't something that was as heavy in the script, but because you got Raimi on board to
Yeah.
direct the shit out of that, he's like, no, this is what we're going to do, and we're gonna spend like a
Yeah,
month trying to
exactly.
nail
And it's
this.
like any other director probably wouldn't do that, you know?
Yeah,
And that's the importance of director vision because it's like they let these moments, these cool hype moments regardless of like script messiness and structure and stuff
yeah,
like that, the moments themselves are fucking metal. They're
yeah,
radical. This is like the
yeah,
most metal movie I've seen since Ghost Rider. You
yeah,
know, Sam
yep.
Raimi should do a Ghost Rider movie.
That would be kind of
Oh,
sick.
he should do
I saw
Ghost Rider. That'd
something
be
saying that
perfect.
like the Ghost Rider is like if they do Ghost Rider in the MCU, he would go after Doctor Strange now because he used the Darkhold. I
Holy
was like,
fuck. Wait, that'd be perfect.
that would
Oh,
be
hell
kind of
yeah.
like a Ghost Rider versus Doctor Strange thing.
Yeah,
That'd be
I'd be
kind of
down with
fun.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but bring
Um,
back Nick Cage for it though.
Bring back Nick
Let it be
Cage.
Nick Cage. It's like, I, Doctor Strange. Yeah, the Illuminati comes to butt you in the ass. The
Yeah.
Illuminati? The Illuminati? What happened to the Illuminati? I can't get over the way he says Illuminati. I'm
We've
sorry.
really got a whole scene going here. I'm just
And
letting you go.
I'm
Do your story.
yeah. Fanboy pre-writes Doctor Strange
Fanboy
3.
pre. That would
Yeah,
actually be really fun. That's a good.
yeah,
I like that. I like that
yeah.
idea.
Something with Ghost
Yeah.
Rider. But yeah, that was a cool fight. I'm trying to did they fought like a little, but then it just went down to America Chavez, and like
Yeah, which
that
I was
was
cool with, you know,
yeah
because they've already fought. We already had their confrontation
yeah they had
with
a
Strange
nice
and Wanda, you know,
moment.
like quite a
The
bit of times actually.
the moment where she's like no, what does she say? If she does the little like oh, and then she says no. I don't know what the fuck
What the fuck?
she
I know what you're
punches her
talking
in the
about.
face, and then I forgot. America says something, and then Scarlet Witch looks at her, and she's like, "No, I don't remember what the fuck happened there, but
I
something
don't
happened
remember
there,
that.
and it was kind of funny. I just remember it was kind of funny. Like not, I don't know if it was intentionally funny, but I just thought it was kind of funny. I don't remember what she says. Um,
Okay, I don't know what you're talking about,
I
but all
thought she
right.
said something like,
I
"No, you
really like.
didn't," or something like that. I
Okay,
don't remember.
Wong was straight up like, "Yeah, kill America Chavez." I was like, "That's a
That was weird,
wow,
right?
Wong."
That was a little weird.
That's I'm not a huge fan of Wong doing that. I thought the whole
Yeah.
point was that we like Wong and he's a cool dude.
I also
You
was
know,
like,
that
why did they
doesn't.
need to kill her? Just to take her powers?
It's yeah, it's like taking her powers would kill her. That's basically.
Yeah, but then what?
I think that's what
How
they're
would that
trying to
help them
say.
fight Wanda? That's
Because
where I was
now
confused.
if they have her power, they could like banish her or some shit. You know, I don't
Oh,
know.
oh, okay, because
I
they have
think
better
that's
control over it.
I guess so. Yeah, they could control it, or you know,
That I guess that kind of makes sense.
just keep it out of Wanda's hands, and you know,
Yeah, yeah, I guess that makes
because
sense.
like Wanda can very easily control it with America by like mind controlling her and stuff,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and like that's much more like dangerous than
They're
just like
sorcerers.
Strange
They're
having
doing
it and
quick
being
math in
killed or
their
something.
heads. Yeah, they know
Yeah,
some
because he
shit's gonna be
fortified
done.
his mind.
Fortify your minds. He says it so loud
He
too.
says it's so. Oh, I love it. It's so
He says
funny.
it with his whole chest. You know, he put his whole chest into it. But yeah,
I love Zombie Strange's wink at the camera. It's so funny.
when does he
It's
wink at
so
the
good.
camera?
He's talking to America and he's like, "You got this, girl." Ding. It's
Oh
so
yeah,
fucking
that's
hysterical.
right.
It's
Yeah,
I adored it.
yeah.
I like how they stuck with ugly scary Zombie Strange this
For like a
entire third
while.
act.
Yeah,
Like good for them.
that's him in like. I mean, there's
That's
CG work there, but that's
that's practical.
prosthetics.
No, I don't think there's much CG if
But there's
anything.
like a
That
gap
looks.
in his face. You know, that's why I'm like, there's got to be some CG there. But
Oh, that's right. I forgot that
for
was
the
something. I,
for the for the
well, no,
most
I mean,
part,
it
yeah.
might. It. Oh, yeah. They're probably doing a little bit of Two Face thing
But
to
like, his
cut that
eye
lip.
does kind of look like his eye though. Like his this side of his
Like
face
I
does
really think everything except for that hole in his mouth
is
practical.
practical. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. That's you're probably right. Yeah.
just because like I might, if it's CG, that's really impressive.
Yeah.
We've seen Marvel CG. It's not usually that good.
It's,
So
yeah,
like,
it's like
I think
it's
it's
like
done pretty
that
well.
one scene in Moon Knight episode 6.
Yeah,
But yeah, where he suits up and he gets all the, and then he goes like this, and it looks really bad. You
I
remember
don't.
that?
Sure. Oh,
It,
I guess I
when
kind of
he
remember.
like
Yeah,
comes
yeah,
back to
yeah,
life and then he gets the suit
yeah,
and then
yeah,
it
yeah,
like
yeah,
just
yeah,
looks
yeah, yeah, yeah.
bad.
Yeah, we're not talking about Moon Knight though.
We're not, no.
Yeah.
But then yeah, then the Wanda gets to see her kids.
I like the message being like, America, you've done everything right. You know,
Yeah,
all the things you think are mistakes are like things that you've been trying to do. You
yeah,
know, or like they've been unintentionally the perfect thing we need.
mhm,
And like I love that. I think
yeah,
that's like a very it's just this very like kind-hearted message that, you know, and like it's such the antithesis of the utilitarianism thing
yeah, yep,
that is just I love that. I think that's such like, regardless of like my issues with the script as a whole, the fact that they got that down pretty well, I'm like, hell yeah. Fuck yeah.
yeah,
This is a nice like this is a nice growth. This is a nice arc and nice change and stuff. And like I don't really
yeah.
give a shit about the rest of the plot because of that now.
Yeah,
We
because
had a
it's a
good character
good,
arc.
like, small empowering moment for her to kind of just be like, okay,
But
because
just in general, like it's an empowering moment for her, but it's also like that's his arc. That's the Doctor Strange arc, and it's great.
yeah,
I
yeah,
really like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Um, like I would rather have great direction and a great character arc, and then maybe a little bit of a weaker plot
mhm.
than a quote unquote
Perfect
flawless
story
plot,
with
and
it. Yeah,
then lacking in the
yeah, because
development
what
of
makes
everything
a
else.
flawless plot if the direction is going to be bad? You know, you won't. It
Exactly.
won't
Yeah.
be even good to observe that. So
Yeah. But then America just embarrasses the fuck out of
yep,
out of
yeah, she set
Wanda.
him up. She set him up.
She set her up.
Yep,
I like that. I like that she was scaring the
that's
kids
one moment where the
unintentionally.
kids were acting still kind of
They were pretty
okay.
good. They were pretty good
Yeah,
in there. Yeah. I like I think that's a really nice thing. And
yeah.
I didn't know what the fuck Wanda said to the other Wanda.
She said they will be safe or something. They're like
Yeah,
they're.
it took me. I had to look up some stuff,
It was
and I was
something
like, oh,
similar
I
to
could
what
not hear it.
it's something similar to what Wong
It was
said.
no, it was like, no, they'll be loved, I think, or
Yeah,
something, which
yeah,
that's a
something
nice
like
moment. That's like,
yeah,
that's like I do kind of, I kind of appreciate that Wanda had an almost protagonist
mm,
level of like story with her too,
yeah,
of like her own growth, you know,
yeah,
but it just, it made the movie a little bit messier.
yeah.
But I
Did
do like
she?
that moment
So
in tandem with the Wong thing.
because the she breaks down the entire thing. Did she commit Sudoku in a video game? Then
I don't think so. I don't think she's dead. I like
okay,
it's this movie. This is the thing. We know when people die in
yeah,
this movie.
because
We
they
saw it.
died. Yeah,
We said when
and
Wong
even then
falls
they
off
didn't
the
die.
mountain and then disappears, and we're supposed to think he's dead, and he comes back later.
No,
That
yeah,
motherfucker wasn't dead.
yeah.
We didn't see him die because
I want to
Sam
know
would
how he
show it.
survived, but yeah, he
I
didn't
mean,
die.
he hung up the thing. You know, I don't know.
No, but his thing,
Yeah.
his rope fell. Like it's there and then it stuck, and so
Oh, I don't know. Magic. He's magic.
that's right. I forgot that this is a
They're
movie about magic.
superheroes.
Yeah, this magic in this movie, I thought it was really
There's
grounded, like the Dark Knight.
That's stupid. That doesn't make any sense.
This is the multiverse of
The
madness.
multiverse? What is the multiverse? Wait,
Yeah.
that multiverse isn't real.
Donald Glover can't be
My dreams are not
Spider-Man.
real. My dreams are dreams. They're fictional.
Yeah, I think about every single one of her dreams, and that's real somewhere. You know, that's
But
fun.
no, I don't think she's dead. I think like if anything, she's just kind of be like she's gonna be like fake dead for a while,
Mm.
and then they'll bring her back when they want to bring her as another Avenger again. You know,
Yeah, they have a whole
like that's
multiverse
just
of Wandas to pull from now too. If they pull,
that's true. I guess I would hope. I hate that. I hate the idea of like, okay, well, our character is already. Do we like? You would just lose all development with that. You know, I'm not a
but
huge
they're
fan
gonna
of.
do that to Iron Man eventually. You know that,
I
and like
swear to God.
they
I
will.
swear to God, my life has been great having an MCU, having Marvel movies without that fucker. Don't
Yeah,
they better not? They better not. I
yeah,
swear.
but they
Sorry,
might.
Doug. I know you're an Iron Man fan. I don't hate Iron
I
Man.
don't think he's an
Everybody.
Iron Man fan
I
in the
just think
same
he's a
way that
billionaire.
other Iron Man fans are Iron Man fans. I give Doug
Exactly.
more credit.
Exactly.
um,
Yeah.
but
um,
I, I mean,
I don't
there's
think
the
she's
whole
dead.
thing about incursions and shit that they're gonna. We'll talk about that later. But
Well, Incursions is Secret Wars, I think, or
yeah,
that's
which
the new
is
Secret Wars, adult
yeah,
Secret, not
which
adult,
is where
modern
it's
Secret
like
Wars.
that's probably where they're gonna do their big cameos and like big pay this guy $2 million
Interesting. I
to
don't.
show up for like
Would
two
they do?
seconds.
I don't know if they would do Secret. I would like if they do Secret Wars. It better. I would hope it's the original. Secret Wars is a great idea.
Yeah,
Battleworld and stuff.
yeah. So
I don't
maybe
know.
I don't
I'm
know.
not a huge fan of the new one. Is it Secret Wars? Is it? Yeah.
The new one
Uh,
is Battle World, right? No,
sorry, I call it Battle World in the old one because it's the world where they go to do battle.
but it's okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm
No,
talking the
it's
old one
like
where
Doom
Spider-Man gets the
World.
black
It's
suit.
like yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. It's like Doom World in the new one. I
I
forgot.
can't remember what it's called.
But
Yeah,
are when
but
people
I
say
like that
Secret
idea.
Wars, do they talk about the old one or the new one? Because they always show posters of the new one.
I think actually, wait. I think the old one is Secret War, and the new one Secret Wars.
Yeah, but then like
I
whenever
think
I
that's
see
what it
people
is.
say Russos are going to do Secret Wars, they always show the new one with like Superior Iron Man and Miles and like
I think you know what I think that means. I think they just Googled it. I
that.
think it's
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of
I'm just
times
trying.
that's what it means. I think they didn't read the
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
because
That's
I know
probably
because
true.
I didn't really read too much of the new one. I just read the main event.
I
I didn't read the
read the
tie-ins and
new
stuff.
one. I never read the old one. I should read the old one.
Old one's pretty cool. Old one's
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, so then they saved one is I believe dead. Fixed the watch.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's a nice scene.
America's a wizard now. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's fun.
She's not normally.
She can pop up in
I
other shit. She can pop up in like Shang-Chi, or something
Yeah,
like
that'd be
that.
fun. That'd be cool. I'd like to see them together. The people in the fight with Commentaries, were they from Shang-Chi? I feel like they
Mm,
were.
when were they? When were magicians?
The people with like the people that not the people who had the bows, but remember when like those other people showed up and they had like spears and like bows and shit like that? They weren't magic.
Maybe I don't know.
I don't know. I
No,
feel
but
like
that
there
was
was
like dragon
there were
string. That
people
wasn't magic.
wearing red, and I was like, these look like the
No,
people.
but
This
there
looks
were
like
people
it.
with like the glowing red shit, but that wasn't magic. That was the dragon skin or whatever. That wasn't like magic
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. I'm saying in the new in this, I think I
In
don't know.
this,
I don't know.
oh, they were wearing
Yeah,
that. Oh, I didn't notice that. So maybe
I
they are.
think that was if not I was like I don't know it could have
Yeah.
been that could have been fun.
Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
I will say one random thing. Wong's haircut is very
Hmm.
inconsistent during the entire movie. I just noticed that
Really
when I was thinking about it. There are shots where it's him with shorter hair, and then it cuts back and he has full long hair, and then it cuts back and he has
interesting.
full short hair and full long hair. I noticed that. It's not a bad thing. It just I thought it was kind of funny. He's fallen off the cliff, and in the meantime, he's also growing a bunch of hair.
Well, yeah, when you fall off a cliff, you grow hair.
They're
You never fallen off a
sorcerers.
cliff
They can
before?
do. Yeah, no, yeah,
Yeah, he decided to do the spell to give himself a haircut midway
yeah.
through the movie.
Yeah. I like the cloak, the cloak being repaired with the other
Yeah, it
cloak
was a
to
little
have a little
blue.
blue
That's fun.
patch. That's
Yeah,
nice. I
that's
like that.
nice.
Um,
I don't know. I
cloak
just
is
feel like
still great.
this turned me kind of into a Doctor Strange fan. I'm like I
Yeah,
like this growth. For the first time I'm like, you know what? I actually like really dig where they're going with a character
yeah,
in one of these movies, in a
yeah,
way that's like I could I've got really I'm excited for the third one in a way of like I just want to see this dude more. I like
yeah,
him,
yeah.
in a way that like
I
I didn't after the first one.
and it's like there are bigger Strange fans, and I don't even think you're that big of a Doctor Strange fan.
No, I'm
So the
not.
post credit scene happened, like the mid post credit scene.
Mhm.
I don't. I know it's Charlize Theron,
Yeah,
and
I
she's
believe
his
I was
future
looking it up.
wife,
Yes. Oh, I don't know
right?
that. I was
Something like
looking up
that in the
shit. I closed
comics.
out of it to do Wordle.
Mm.
But I think her name's like Sarah or Lara or
Clea,
like
Clea.
it's
It's
Clea.
Clea,
Clea. Thank you.
and she
Yeah,
is Doctor Strange's future wife. And I think Doctor Strange is
yeah,
currently dead in the comics, and she is the Sorcerer
mm,
Supreme. I
yeah. That's
heard
what I
that
heard.
somewhere.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's true.
I'm far behind on a lot of Marvel stuff, so I don't know about that. But like, yeah, that's cool.
She's
That's
also
it. Yeah,
either Dormammu's daughter or Dormammu's
hmm
niece. I don't know which one. It's one or the
that's
other.
interesting because they were
So
open. That the portal they opened up in that credit scene looked
is
like
Dormammu
the
world.
dork
Yeah.
dimension. The
Yeah.
dork
The dork
dimension.
dimension. Yeah.
It's Doctor Strange, but it's evil Doctor
The
Strange.
dork
And he wants
strange
to
in the dork
open the
dimension.
dark dimension.
That's probably what's going to be the third movie is going to be called like Doctor Strange into the Dark Dimension or something like that. I don't know.
But we were
Right?
already in there. I don't know. If they, I
Yeah.
just hope that, I really hope that they short the titles a little bit. Because
Yeah,
boy,
because you
that
want
was a
them to be
hard.
YouTube titles.
It took up half of my title.
The
It
title
took up
should
half of
the
that.
title for your video should be Doctor Strange in your mom. That's what it should be.
Yep, there we
Yeah.
go. Happy
Yeah.
Mother's Day, everybody! Did you
Yeah.
guys get everybody get your mother a gift?
It's Saturday, not
Say happy.
Sunday.
Don't forget, everybody wish your mother happy Mother's Day. Happy mom. Multiverse
Happy,
Madness
happy, happy,
mom.
happy Multiverse of Madness. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But
yeah,
yeah, and then that credit scene like didn't like
yeah,
hugely excite me, but like, cool.
it's
I'm
fun.
interested in
What's
like the
going on with the
impact
third
of
eye?
the
I
Dark
know
World.
you probably don't
I
know
I
exactly, but
I don't know hugely, but I do know like he I mean it sounds like he delved into this dark fucked up thing and it's impacted him in a messed up way.
hmm,
And I'd be interested to see how they do that. I don't know. It is very interesting. This is clearly not intentional.
yeah,
Everything everywhere all at once. There's a big focus on the
uh,
googly eye in the
yeah,
third eye
yeah,
area, and then this had third eye opening. That's like a kind of a bigger thing.
yeah.
And then the multiverse. That's interesting. I'm curious, like if there's a reason for that, or if that's just a straight
The
up
thing, I
coincidence.
don't know what it originated from, but in Hinduism, one of the gods, Shiva, has a third eye, and he's like the god of death. And when he opens the third
Hmm.
eye, that is meant to spell destruction for everyone else. So always, like, you see
Interesting.
him and he doesn't have the third eye open, and it's because he's always like, he's kind of teasing like the devas and the
I
asuras and
see.
being like, if I could open my third eye and I could fuck all of you guys up,
Yeah.
but then he doesn't, because that's supposed to be like the end of times or whatever the fuck. So I think that's
Hmm.
why they use it for like dark
That
shit,
could maybe
is
be it.
because when they open the
Yeah.
third eye, they're doing a lot of dark shit. That
Yeah,
kind of
I
makes
think
sense,
also like
but
part of it
I
is
don't
like
know.
opening your third eye is kind of like expanding your senses in a way, and I think that's how
Yeah,
everything
yeah,
everywhere was
yeah.
was going with it. Um, and
That's what
that
it's
it
meant
could
to
be
be in like
similar with that.
yoga, I think too. Is like
Yeah,
when is something about opening your third eye has to do with your
yeah,
chakras. It's just shit,
yeah,
but
exactly. Yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
interesting. I hope they get Sam back for the next one. That would
Yeah.
be fun. That'd be nice.
You think they'd get Scott Derrickson back? I don't think so. Right?
Imagine you. I don't know. Scott Derrickson's a good director and stuff, but like, fuck, I wouldn't want anybody
Yeah.
but Sam now.
Yeah, yeah.
Unless if Sam's gonna do a Ghost Rider movie, that would fucking be
Yeah, yeah.
sick. Whatever they do with Sam in the future, because I would hope he comes back for more things, because I want him to
Yeah.
direct more stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he's such a talented director, and I want him. I want to just see more of his work.
Yeah.
Because like there's not that much of the stuff he's made,
No, yeah,
and so it's like it.
he did Oz, and then he did a couple other things, right? And then that was it.
Yeah, but it's a pretty. He has like, and compared to a lot of other directors who've been working as long as he has, like he has a pretty limited like. It's like a handful of movies.
Because he does a
Um,
movie, and then he like other than
they're his.
Spider Man,
Yeah,
because he did Spider Man like in a row. Other than that, he
yeah.
does movies in
Well, with Evil
pockets.
Dead, it was like I'm gonna make Evil Dead, and then he waited like 5 years. And was like, I'm gonna make Evil Dead too. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
um, I think if they're gonna get Sam back for something else, which I hope they do, if it's Spider Man, like that'd be cool. He'd be good. But like we've already seen Sam Raimi make Spider Man. We've already seen that vision. We've already seen that voice.
yeah.
It could be interesting. It could be great. But like I
I'll
would
say you're
want to
one of
see
the
him do
only people
something
to
with.
say we already seen it. We don't want it again.
It's
But
not that it's not, but it's like I would be ecstatic if he does, right? But
yeah,
I'm not like holding my breath for it
yeah.
because I think part of it's also he probably doesn't want to.
He
I
said
would
he
want to
would,
see him
but
do.
that might be just
If he
Randy's.
does, then that'd be sick.
Yeah,
Actually, it would be, especially if he did something with. I mean, he doesn't like Venom, so I wouldn't want. But I think it'd be cool to do something. Because I want him to do horror. He
hmm,
is so at home doing shit that's scary.
yeah.
And I think this is a good balance of like scary and action.
Could you see him
So if they
doing stuff
continue
on
that,
Disney Plus? Do you think they would let him
he's too big
move?
for Disney Plus.
Okay,
He
yeah,
and also if they restrict him to that 6 episode shit for Disney Plus, that would be a
yeah,
nightmare.
yeah. That's true.
Sam is Sam. You can market that name.
Yeah,
Like Marvel doesn't have many directors that they can market by name.
yeah,
He's absolutely one of them.
yeah. It's
You know,
him and like James Gunn and like
him, James Gunn, and Taika, I think
Taika.
are the
Yeah,
three big ones. And
yeah.
Joss Whedon was back
I
then, but
guess
now Joss Whedon
Favreau, if he
fucking
ever comes
sucks.
back to direct something, but even still, it's like,
I guess so. Yeah, I don't think
and I
Favreau's coming
guess now
back.
the Russos, but
Favreau's gonna be like. I'm saying directors that weren't made big by the MCU.
yeah, yeah,
Like
people who come
yeah,
into the
yeah.
MCU. Yeah,
And I like the Russos as directors quite a bit, but yeah.
Gray
Um,
Man coming soon. I'm actually kind of excited for that. You hear
yeah.
about that? They're doing their
Nope,
big
I don't know.
spy movie with like Chris Evans and Ryan Gosling and one Indian dude, and it
That's
seems like
fun.
it's going
That's
to be
cool.
fun. But
That's
yeah,
cool. I just realized
but
we
yeah,
forgot to talk about the like a thing that you're into. We'll talk about that next week.
okay.
Um, but yeah.
Oh yeah,
Overall,
something did come out. Yeah,
yeah,
we'll talk.
I
We'll talk
really,
about it
I
later.
really do. I like this. Again, the script is a kind of a mess, especially at the beginning.
Yeah,
Like it really is that first half is rushed, not rushed, but it's like it's not up to par with what I would hope. But the
it's
second, ironically, the second Reed Richards dies, I'm like, oh, this is
yeah,
sick.
yep,
You
yep.
know, because it's just
But like,
like
I wonder, like,
it's
if you hadn't done the Illuminati, what else would you have done there? Is it just like having it be from someone like Christine or like someone like another association?
Like the what are you saying?
Because my
Like
idea
you
would have
have
been, what if you did like the time bureau, the TVA there instead, or something like that? But the TVA is time, so that doesn't really mess
yeah.
with
I
this.
mean, well, the whole point was the TVA was to prevent the multiverse, so it makes sense. You know.
Yeah, that they would be there to be like,
I
you're
think
kind of causing rifts or some shit.
yeah, that could work. I really do think though, like the whole point of the Illuminati is to say, hey, Doctor Strange, 838 Doctor Strange was a piece of shit. You know, he
Mm.
fucked this up and he killed trillions of people by accident. You
Yeah,
know, and so we ended up killing him utilitarian style
yeah,
to save because he was such a threat, and then we pretended to say that he was a hero still.
yeah,
And I like what that does for Strange's character. I like this idea that like every Doctor Strange is unhappy in his relationship and is a utilitarian asshole. And then it's up to this Doctor Strange to not be any of those things, you know?
yeah,
And
yep,
I really, really like that. I think that's a really interesting like decision with the character.
yeah.
But I don't think you needed like 12, you know, like 6 cameos from a bunch of different people that like we barely know if we know
That
any of them
distracts it almost
to
from,
distract from
yeah,
that in like a long-winded section. I think Christine could have said this Doctor Strange did this,
fucked up. Yeah,
you know, like and then maybe the back and then maybe you get or then maybe he sacrificed. Maybe he did end up dying in a video game from
yeah,
his own intent, like to save. You know, I don't know.
yeah. Or if
Maybe he
I think it's
committed
part of
that
the
that
distraction with the
serious thing.
Illuminati is it's all of them. Just take like
Yeah,
one or two of them, and they're the guys that are there who are telling them some shit. You know, even if it's
honestly,
Mister
even if they,
Fantastic, just say it's Mister Fantastic in the Baxter building, and he shows up and he's like, "Oh no, 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 no," and then that's it. You know, like
yeah, I don't know.
simplifying that scene
It
probably
is
would make it
the
better.
fact that there is a lot of them,
Yeah,
but I do understand their point of they exist to make Wanda even scarier
yeah,
because it's
that's true.
like Black Bolt, a guy who can kill anybody with a fucking word. She
Decimates
instant
him.
death,
Yeah.
you know, in a just in a great death. And like Reed Richards, who's one of the smartest men in the universe, she just
That
you
being said,
know
he did do
like
a
spaghetti's
stupid
him.
thing. He was like, "Ooh, like I'm going to do something by reaching my hand
Yeah,
out." Bet you're going to die. Did you see what
yeah.
happened? But
um like I understand why she exists there and stuff, and like like the death scenes I enjoyed and stuff, but I do feel like as a whole it just detracted from the whole narrative.
yeah,
And it just like the discussion's going to be all about that, when in reality I want the discussion to be about the sick guitar riffs and like the crazy
yeah,
zombie
yep.
reveal and
But
like all
then
these
most people are going
really
to talk
insane
about.
shit.
I mean, the articles are now coming out just about John Krasinski, but I think that will die over the course of the next week. I mean, it's only
Yeah,
if it's Friday or Saturday, I can't even fucking tell. But it will,
it's
that
Friday.
discourse might die a little bit, but we'll see what happens. I think
Yeah, I think
the movie
I
can
I
still
I
stand on its own. At least the like,
yeah,
because of the directorial style, this movie does stand on its own. Apart from that, I think that's why I give it a 4 instead of like a 3 or a 2, is because I enjoy it for that, not the other shit. And I think you
yeah,
feel
yeah,
strongly the same way. So
yeah. I think like in 2 weeks, in 2 weeks to you know in years from now, I'm gonna look back at this movie and I'm gonna be like, Sam killed it. Sam
yeah,
did a great job with this, you know. And I'm gonna forget about John Krasinski. I'm gonna forget about the Illuminati shit. I'm gonna forget about the cameos. I'm just gonna be thinking about, God, he made a zombie Doctor Strange and it was so cool.
yeah.
You know, I'm gonna think about like, oh, America Chavez was a great character. That was a great introduction to her. Like I'm gonna think about like those things as opposed to like, oh, I don't like what they did with you know Professor X or some shit. You know,
And it's nice to feel that
and
way,
that's a
knowing
win to
how
me.
we've been feeling about this movie before it came out. Of it being like,
Yeah,
are they
we were
gonna?
really worried
There's
about this movie.
remember the fucking
Yeah,
posters with all the characters and shit, and we're like, okay, all
if
right.
people thought there was Deadpool in it,
Deadpool, and I
yeah,
remember the poster with like Joker on it. Where the fuck? Like people thought this was going to be Cameo Haven, and when those first reviews came out earlier this week, where it's like, this is not Cameo Haven, I'm like, okay, we
it
might be onto
the
something.
reviews of all the like MCU heavy sites being like, this wasn't the movie we wanted, and then
Yeah,
people like Bailey being like, I loved this movie. I was like,
yeah,
oh fuck,
yeah.
this is gonna be
Okay,
great.
yeah,
This is gonna
exactly.
be sick. You know.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, I think like I really do hope that Marvel will be like, okay, our script. This was a movie that we lost a director. The
Yeah,
script was not up to par with what we would like it to be, but we got Sam and we let him be Sam, and that
yeah.
made the movie good.
And that's
That's the lesson I think there
the
needs
thing
to
is,
be.
they did this with Sam. Would they do this with someone who new who comes in? I don't
If they
know.
can do this with like, I mean, John Watts isn't doing anymore, but if they did it with John Watts, I think like all the other Spider-Man movies would have been way better.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. That's
like
my
if
fear
they
is
do
they're
it with
just
Krasinski, if he ends up doing Fantastic Four, if they do it with Taika, actually, Love and Thunder is going to be the one to decide that for me,
yeah,
because
yeah,
Taika did a good Taika Ragnarok is fine. He didn't write it, but he did a decent job directing it.
yeah,
Taika's writing this. This is literally his movie through and through.
yeah,
If
yep.
they let him be Taika, let him make his movie, then fuck yeah,
If this is a
you know,
Jojo Rabbit of superhero movies, then that's where I think you'll see Marvel start to pump the brakes on shit,
yeah,
or pump the brakes in a good way. I
yeah.
think the reason they're doing it here is because it's Sam fucking Raimi. You know, you're not
Yeah, I
gonna.
hope it's not just big name directors. It should be every
Yeah, and
director.
that's
You
my
shouldn't have
internal
to
fear. It's
earn,
like,
yeah, you shouldn't have to earn respect from the studio.
yeah,
You know,
exactly. If
you
it's
should
someone
just
who is
like,
up and coming,
yeah,
and who comes into the scene and just wants to make a movie because they made a big
yeah,
movie
you
who
shouldn't,
won like an Oscar.
like making art you want to make is like I feel like should be a right, you know,
Yeah,
in these
exactly.
things. You
Like,
know,
who's
that's
the
an
who
exaggeration. Everybody
did
calm down,
Riz
but you know,
Ahmed direct the short film that he won the Academy
I
Award
don't know.
for?
I
I
don't
don't
remember.
remember. But I know people were talking about him, and it's like if someone at his level of like they did something small and it worked really like someone like Chloe Zhao, you know, where they
Hmm.
definitely kind of fucked with her vision when they came
Yeah,
on board. And part of it just doesn't work because her style of storytelling doesn't mess with Marvel style, but just in
I think
general,
there shouldn't be a Marvel style. That's my
no,
opinion.
yeah. And so
Yeah,
they did it with Chloe Zhao because she was a new director. They kind of did it with Ryan Coogler in the second half of Black Panther because he was
yeah.
coming into this. They do it for these people, but they don't do it for Sam Raimi because he's Sam fucking Raimi. That precedent should go away.
Yeah, I agree. I
We
totally agree.
Black Panther
It also
2.
doesn't help. It actually doesn't help that all those examples, like you're right, those are
Yeah.
both like people of color too,
Yeah,
and this is the same
exactly.
Raimi.
You know,
That's kind of messed
I
up.
didn't intend
Probably
that,
not
but
intentional, but like, yeah, you
yeah,
know,
but like Wakanda Forever needs to be a Ryan Coogler movie on the level of
yeah. And
something
I
like
think
Creed 2.
Wakanda Forever's got its own behind the scenes issues, so like, I don't know if like
Yeah,
that's going to be the
exactly.
best judge of that, but I would
Yeah.
hope that Marvel will be like, make your movie, dude,
Yeah.
do what you can,
Yeah.
you know,
And I
because that's
mean,
all
as
like
much
that's all
as
the studio. That's how Marvel is with the comics. Marvel is
yeah,
just like, hey, you want to write a Moon Knight book? Write a Moon Knight book.
yeah.
You know, I mean,
And
you have
that's
to
what
pitch
it's
the Moon
like
Knight book
even
stuff, but first,
with
yeah.
the TV shows. There's a sometimes there's a better balance of give and take with that. Sometimes
Mhm.
like Reese Thomas is the director of like a lot of SNL stuff and he did Hawkeye. And you can kind of tell. You can kind of tell in some moments that yeah, this is like a very like comedy heavy thing that's like oriented around the comedy, but then there's a lot of serious moments. Or shit like WandaVision, where it's like
Mhm.
when you hear Elizabeth Olsen talk about it, she's like, "Yeah, no, there was a Matt Shackman came in and he was our director and he really brought together the set and that's what really made this experience feel comforting, like it was at home." And it's like those are the kind of conversations I want to be hearing from actors and people behind the scenes. Is that when they were working on this project, they felt like the director was in charge, and that's how they talked about Sam Raimi. You hear Benedict
Yeah.
Cumberbatch talk behind the scenes on this film, and he's like, "Yeah, no, Sam came in and he did this and this and this, and he talked like this, and he had a vision for this shit." That should be a norm for more directors. And if it's, I hope this movie will help do that. I don't know, but I hope.
Yeah. I completely agree,
Yeah.
100%. You said it better than I ever could.
Mm.
Long story
Thanks.
short, directors should direct.
Yep.
You know, that's
Yeah.
it. That's all that matters. And this, I genuinely, I hope that that's the takeaway of this. Like, the script, I hope that the takeaway with like the discourse is not, oh, this script is bad and that's it. You know, I
Yeah.
hope it's the script isn't great, but the direction is so good. Imagine someone
Him
having that
directing a
freedom
script.
with a better
Yeah.
script.
Yeah. Exactly.
Again, imagine if Edgar Wright made Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Fuck.
It just comes back to that for
I
you,
am
doesn't it?
still mad. I
Yeah.
am still mad about that to this day.
Yeah.
I regret, like, I remember seeing that in theater and being like, I wish I didn't support this. I even like Ant-Man and I wish I didn't go support this thing
Yeah.
because it made me so mad.
Yeah. I did. I
But
was reformatting some of my MCU rankings earlier today,
mhm.
and I couldn't like do the list because I'm stupid like that. So I looked up a thing that makes you choose between the movies, and then it gives you a list. So you just keep
Interesting.
clicking between the movies. But
That's
like
actually probably
sometimes,
smarter.
sometimes when you answer it wrong, it'll show the movie again just to like clarify. The one that
I
showed
see.
up the most was Ant-Man. I kept going back and forth on Ant-Man because I'm like, it's good, but sometimes it's not good, but sometimes
Yeah.
it's good. And I think it's very middle of the road for me. That's like when you think MCU, you think, yeah, Ant-Man's one of
Yeah.
those
Ant-Man is
movies,
like
you
a
know?
very definitive, yeah.
And these
Especially
movies need
it's
to be
just,
less like that. But
I agree.
yeah.
Um,
But yeah.
but yeah, 3.5 out of 5/4 out of 5. You know,
Yeah.
good movie. I recommend it. Watch Everything
I
Everywhere All at Once first, but
yeah.
it's a good one.
Yeah.
Good time.
And yeah, be careful going. COVID numbers are rising here near my
Yeah, COVID's
college.
not better. COVID's not fixed.
My finals,
There was a note left on our door
yeah.
saying from our apartment saying, now that the pandemic has been declared over, we're planning a lot of large projects for the apartment. It's like, who the fuck declared that?
No,
Why
no,
did we
no, no,
decide
no.
that?
No, 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 don't do that. My college,
No.
we last week of classes. Some of my professors are kind of asinine about this shit, but my last week of classes is finals week. They switched everything to online because
Smart.
we have
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
200 something cases of people with COVID and shit, and it's just like, no,
Yeah.
we don't take
That's
risks.
scary.
Stay inside.
Yeah.
Be as careful as you can. I know it is already May. What the fuck?
What the
But like,
fuck?
but I know summer's coming up. But be careful because you're gonna
Yeah,
see
be
COVID
careful.
numbers rise.
If you're gonna see this movie, here's the thing: stay in the seat you bought. If
Oh, is this?
I go to the theater and I'm like, okay, cool. There's this whole chunk because the theater has reserved seats.
Yeah,
The whole chunk where nobody's sitting. I'll just sit there. I
yeah,
go there. People are fucking right there. I'm like, God
yeah,
damn it! That was the only reason I felt safe while watching The Northman.
yeah,
So I was like right in the front row because of that. I was like, oh,
yeah.
that's rough. But
You got to
yeah, so
enjoy the
or just go
volcano
to the
fight.
Alamo
Yeah,
where they
fight.
force you to be in the seat you bought.
Yeah, yeah. There's
That's why I love the
something
Alamo.
like that near me. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
They don't serve the got ham chicken sandwich, but they serve other things.
Oh, God,
So
I love that sandwich.
yeah,
But anyway, thank you everybody for joining us on this episode of Family Talk. We were going to do questions, but we're at 2 hours 40 minutes, and I'm very tired.
yeah. I'm also kind of tired.
And my battery's going to die on my computer. So
Yeah,
thank you everybody for joining us. This has been Troy Boy 17. If you're here from the main channel, welcome. Subscribe to this channel because we want to get monetized, and we'll make more content if we get monetized.
yeah.
Because we're greedy.
We're close.
But,
we're getting close, but
we're getting there.
Please
We're getting
subscribe.
there. Yeah, subscribe everybody.
If you subscribe, I promise to either talk about Fortnite if you like Fortnite, or not talk about Fortnite if you don't like Fortnite.
Maybe that's the issue. Maybe nobody's subscribing because we talk about Fortnite.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, thank you everybody. This is Troy Boy 17, and I'll see the Spider-Man video coming eventually. Who knows? And Young Justice video coming soon.
I'm working on it. I have once my finals are over.
I know.
I'm working on it.
I believe you. I believe you.
Before I go, I'm going on a trip later this month. Before I go on that trip, I'll be done editing it. That's my promise.
All right. Hell yeah.
So,
but thanks everybody. Let's see you guys around. What?
I don't know. I just made a sound.